Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and yes, get ready. It's time. I want to see you guys Merle the hell out of Merle tonight in the chat room as it's Merle's. We're calling it Ghost of the Great White North, but is it really? Is it really? I mean, God, it hasn't snowed here in a long time. So literally, maybe the Ghost of the Great White Fires. I don't know. Maybe that one works. We're going to have a special guest, Liz Silva, tonight. She's a paranormal investigator from Vancouver as well. But first, we need to say hello to each and every one of you. Yes, we do. Let's get going here. Where is my list? Kitty Caddywhack in the gold medal position. Race Fan with a silver. T-Bone with a bronze medal tonight. As we scroll on down to say, Mel WD-40 is here, lubing us up for tonight's show, because you can't talk to Merle without being nice and lubed. So thank you, Mel. Not just, what's that name? Just Frelling Mel? No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. But there it is. Just Frelling Mel. All right. Road Flare, how are you? Robert Lamont, nice to see you. Trucker Andrew, thanks for coming on in as we continue on with our roll call tonight. Little Cam over on YouTube, thank you for joining us as we say hello to Gear Jammers and Werewolf. Thank you for coming on in. Thunderhead, good to have you here. Honest Content, thank you. Free Your Mind is here. Free Your Mind will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Luscious Jules, how are you tonight? Thank you for joining us as we continue on with our roll call here. And let's see who else we have here. Flubber Lane, thanks for joining us. Kurt M., nice to see you. As we scroll on down, then scroll on down a little bit more. And who else do we have? Let's see here. Dunzel, thanks for coming on in. Stephanie Kenny Blankenship, good to see you. As we scroll on down and say hello to Undead Jed, Aussie Boss Tiger. Dr. Bob is here. Dr. Bob will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. All right. Let's see. Number 17 in your program tonight, starting on defense from Stockholm, Sweden, Lars Jansson. There he is. Lisa Smith, nice to see you. And Blue Cruz, pleasure to have you here. God, we're caught up already. Did this jump? It must have jumped. K17 Odd, how you doing? Integrationing, thanks for coming on in. Vinny, how you doing? Yay, nice to see you. J Truth, always a pleasure. As we continue on with our roll call, let's get those Merles out, people. You know he doesn't perform unless you guys Merle it up. Desert Rat, how you doing? Algaray over on Twitch, so excited for Merle to be on the show tonight. He did 5,000 Merle ups in 4 minutes. He didn't even break a sweat. Good job, Algaray. We appreciate you. Wilford Brimley, how's the diabetes tonight? Let us know. And give us an update on your mustache, too, if you don't mind. We'd appreciate that. And let's get the radio side going. How you doing, Chaz Mataz? Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're going to have a great time tonight as our main man Merle is here for a little paranormal action from the depths of Vancouver. Yes, we're going to have a good time tonight. So get ready, get with it. We're about 30 seconds away. Hey, do yourself a favor. Stand up and clap for our great mods that moderate this show each and every night. They work their asses off to make sure you have a safe chat room. So make sure you do that. Give your mods a break. Say thank you. Give them a hello. Give them a wave. It is worth it. They're good people. Very good people. All right. Super chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. And Mr. Trev, welcome to SOR chat. Throw those horns up, everybody. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shh. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin in the woods. We're together, my friends. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out, Fumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our site as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Caribou Con. Join us at Caribou Con, September 18th through 20th, a month from now. So that way we can share the paranormal story together. Get your tickets right now at cariboucon.com. We're getting all paranormal tonight. Our main man, Merle, is here with Ghosts of the Great White North. We're going to talk a bunch of spooky different stories with special guest Liz Silva tonight. She's out of Vancouver as well. In hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will join us for another spooky story. Then after that, it'll be Terry Hall. It is that time of the night for the weird news of the week. So let's get right to it. Get things started. Merle is a veteran paranormal investigator based out of Vancouver, British Columbia, with more than 2 decades of experience exploring ghosts, hauntings, and other unexplained phenomena. Known to Merle around the paranormal world, he has been a regular contributor on Spaced Out Radio for almost over 11 years. 11 years, man. Yeah. And why do I keep him around? It's longer than most of my relationships. Anyways, he combines historical research, field investigation, and years of firsthand paranormal experiences. Merle brings a grounded and entertaining approach to the paranormal while sharing some of the strangest encounters that he has had in both Canada and the United States. Our main man, Merle, welcome back to Spaced Out Radio. How you doing, my friend?
Doing great, Dave. It's that time of the month to do what we do. It's always a good time.
I'm excited to see you in a month at Caribou Con, my friend.
I was just gonna say that's 1 month away.
Your tone of your excitement is truly, really telling a story.
Monotone Merle. That's my first name for this half hour. No,
No,
that'll be fun, man. It'll be good. I'm pumped to come up to Paracon. I'm just tweaking my little presentation. I'll be doing basically one on ghost hunting, paranormal investigating, and its etiquette. Try to get that respect, the afterlife out there as much as I can, and I'll also throw in some ghost stories.
Presentation yet? Haven't even started building, but I will. I'll get there. And we have a special guest tonight. Her name is Liz Silva. Merle, why don't you tell us about Liz?
Liz is from Toronto, and she runs the I can't even talk. Say it. Haunted Hangout podcast.
Yeah.
I've been listening to that podcast for a bit. It's great. They you and your co-host, you have great chemistry when you're talking all the spooky stories. I enjoyed your Ouija episode. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Thank
That
you.
one just came out, right? And
Yeah, in the last like couple months it did. Yeah.
yeah. And I don't know, I'm a big Ouija collector, so you hooked me hard on that one. And I was listening to a lot of them. Like there's the one on the Lizzie Borden. Yeah, I
Yes.
enjoyed that one. I enjoyed the later we'll talk about that Martin family disappearance in Oregon.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's a great podcast. Y'all should go
Thank
listen.
you. Thank you.
Liz, what got you so interested in the paranormal? Did you fall into it, or is it a lifetime of experience?
I would argue lifetime. So I feel like a lot of people can relate to kind of being intrigued as a kid by all things paranormal. Kind of, the idea of ghosts and all of that was, I don't know. I just found it so fascinating as a kid, and then growing up, it kind of just evolved. And yeah, I've been, pretty much obsessed with it since then, and wanted to kind of go even crazier with it, hence starting a podcast and, doing all this research into, the paranormal. And it's not just the paranormal on the podcast to talk about pretty much anything that I find weird as the kind of the criteria. But yeah, it's been a lifelong intrigue, I guess, into the paranormal that has, kind of brought me here.
Did you have an experience that kicked it off?
No, actually, I have had a couple experiences, but it wasn't an experience that kind of started it for me. I know that's honestly how a lot of people kind of that starts like their kind of like love for it, but no, I didn't actually have any kind of paranormal experiences till I was like maybe in my teens, but I just kind of it was honestly probably like television and film that kind of got me into it. I just loved anything kind of spooky, any kind of show that was about ghost hunting or things like that. I loved as a kid. Anything mysteries, paranormal, that kind of thing, was obsessed. And then yeah, I did end up having a couple experiences as I got older, and that, just made me start to I always believed in it, but that really, solidified everything for me. Like, oh, okay, like there's, there's things in this world that we might not quite fully understand.
Understand. Sorry, Zach
Yeah.
Baggins right there.
Yeah, I know.
Tell us all the stories. How did it? What happened?
So, I would say my first big one is actually it's an odd story because what I saw, it took me a couple years to actually figure out what I saw, because I believe that I saw someone astral project. So
Okay.
this was a living person that I saw, but it was I know that it wasn't actually them in physical form because I could see through them. So I was staying at my grandmother's house one night, and I had woken up in the middle of the night. The door was open. I looked up in the door frame, and I could see her standing there. And it took me kind of a second to register that something was kind of off with what I was seeing, because I mean, it was pitch black in the hallway. So if it were her, physically, she would have just been silhouetted with light behind her. But that wasn't the case. I could actually see her outfit. I could see her clothing, and she was kind of transparent. I could see through her, and freaked me out because I didn't know what I was looking at. And I watched it dissipate. Couldn't fall back asleep. So that's how I have kind of come to the realization I don't believe I was dreaming, because I never went back to sleep. And then I talked to her about it, and she has confirmed, my grandmother, that she does indeed astral project quite often. So I
Wow.
believe that's what I saw. And that was kind of my first true experience with something in the paranormal realm, because I didn't know what was going on, and that was the first time anything like that had kind of happened to me. So I was probably about 14 or so when that happened. Um, and yeah, since then I've had a couple other interesting things happen, but that was the first.
Since starting your podcast, have you had any experiences after talking about certain subjects, certain sorts of, because I find
Yeah.
investigating or talking about things kind of puts it out there.
Yeah, I haven't. I would say I did notice when I first started the podcast, I did kind of notice a shift in the energy around me. Nothing scary or super intense, but I did kind of notice a few little things here and there. Like I noticed um something kind of move in front of me once right after I had been talking to my co-host at the time. Um Little things like that, and more I do believe I'm an empath, so I can kind of sense energies around me, and I did kind of feel the energy around me move a bit, kind of open up a bit more, but nothing too crazy has happened. That's only I only kind of felt it at the beginning, and it seems to have kind of stayed the same kind of openness. Like, I think on purpose, I'm open. I've always kind of put out into the world, but I don't wanna be completely open where negative things can come in. So I'm happy where it is right now, and I talk about some pretty negative things, so I definitely don't want to I'm okay with the openness at its current state.
We all do talk about negative things.
Yeah.
Negative, not negative as in people, but negative about the paranormal, supernatural.
Exactly, exactly.
The, the idea that you have really forged yourself into becoming a storyteller. How did that happen? Because I will
Yeah.
say that it's hard to tell stories. It's
Yeah.
hard to be creative, to bring something new. It's hard to find those stories that nobody else is doing. How did this fall into your genre?
Um, well, I've always been I've always thought of myself as more of a storyteller. I've wanted to be kind of I wanted to be a writer at one point in my life, so that's always kind of been there. And again, the paranormal side of things has always been an interest of mine. Um, I started listening to podcasts back in 2019, and I became obsessed with them. And probably about a year after listening, I kind of got the idea. I was like, I wonder if I could do this. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can, but let's just try. So I actually did. I started a different podcast with my sister, who is now actually co-hosting with me. She replaced my other old co-host Chelsea, who could no longer do it with me, but I started that with her, and that kind of opened up my love for it. Circumstances kind of made it so my sister and I couldn't continue at that time. Um, but yeah, I started up again podcasting with my friend Chelsea. It was actually her idea. She knew that I had tried it before, was like, "Hey, like we both love talking about spooky things. Do you want to try this with me?" And I was like, "You know what? Let's give it a go again." I've always um loved storytelling, and I love diving into the research side of things and learning about different, weird things that have happened in the world and spooky places and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, we just started it, and we didn't really expect anything to happen with it. We were thinking, I'll be happy if we get maybe like 10 people to listen, and it kind of, it's still growing for sure, but we had more people interested in it and connecting with us than we expected. And people were saying that they loved the stories, but they also loved our dynamic. So I think that's also what kind of not sets us apart, but makes it, there's so many podcasts in existence, and a lot of them have multiple people co-hosting, but I think people like to see the the banter and the dynamic between at the time before when it was between me and Chelsea, and now between me and my sister. And she's it's my sister, so we of course have like a natural banter and relationship there. So I think that's kind of what sets us apart a bit, I guess. But ultimately, yeah, I do love researching and writing and telling stories and all of that. So it just kind of came together naturally, I guess.
That's what I liked about your podcast is your banter, like your Zach
Mhm.
Bagganisms, A plus.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
meaning like Dave, they make a couple references which you'd appreciate as
Yeah.
well. Over articulation as one, and
Yes. Yeah, just the
but
way
no,
he
the
pronounces words differently for some reason.
credibility.
Yes.
But no, like I listen to a lot of podcasts too. I listen to a lot of horror, paranormal, comedy, and
Yeah.
it's like you can tell immediately, like when I'm talking to Dave or I talk to my other buddy Jake, like we can banter really good because we
Right.
know each other. And I
Exactly.
think that
Right.
does like it does separate podcasts. If you don't have good banter
Mhm.
and if it's slow, it's a
Right.
next podcast. Would you agree with that,
Exactly.
Dave?
I would agree with you. You know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you have to be able to captivate your audience. You have to be able to
Right.
kind of push the bounds, and I think once you find your niche and what you're good at and what you enjoy, I think like in your case with telling stories the way you do, and really digging in deep to
Yeah.
not only give people the chills, but to let them know that these are real happenings to real people just like them.
Right.
That is very difficult to do. And yet here you are
Right.
doing it.
Yeah. Trying my best.
And then I think what I'd like to do, we're not going to do it now because what, Dave? We have 9 minutes left or
We
eight.
got about 10 minutes to go before we go to break.
I really want to open the can on the Ouija board and get Dave talking about it too in depth. I'm still on that episode.
Yeah.
Well, what is your favorite topic to cover?
Um, haunted places, more specifically hotels are up there. Um, and probably like a old haunted castle. That's like that to me is I know that's probably pretty broad, but I if I can find like a haunted place that has like a very long history and there's, all of these paranormal experiences that people have had there. There's like a whole list of resident ghosts. Like that is probably my favorite thing to talk about and to write a whole episode about.
Oh, we can go haunted hotels.
Yeah.
1.5
Love
hours
'em.
for sure. I got lots of them
Yeah.
I've been to. But no, like I like the true crime that you had in there too. Like there's one podcast or one of your episodes we'll talk about as well as Dave. Have you ever heard of the Martin family in Oregon? As a family, they
No.
just disappeared essentially, right? Um,
Yeah, some of them were found and there
mm,
has been a bit of a resolution within the last like about year and a half now, but it is definitely I don't know, there's a lot of coincidences in that case that make you kind of wonder if it's not so cut and dry the way that people might think.
What
family
happened
went
there?
out to they went out to a diner. Then what? They're gonna go cut Christmas tree or do Christmas activity.
Yeah, the main reason why they went out that day was to apparently collect some like Christmas greenery. So they went out along the river there in near Portland and um they pretty much so they went out and then they never returned home and then they tried to track kind of like where they thought that they had been along the river based on witness sightings. And yeah, one of them was that a waitress had seen them, had believed that she had served the family at this diner. So that kind of placed them in this one particular town. And then they kind of, there was multiple theories about what they thought happened to the family at the time. I think police had assumed that they had just gone into the water somehow and figured it was some kind of accident. But then you find out that they had an estranged son who was a bit older and he may have
Mhm.
had motive to harm the family. there was a gun that was found near one of the embankments where there was like tire tracks. It looked like a car had gone off there, and it turned out that that gun, he had stolen that gun. Like, there's a bunch of weird little things that make you go, I don't know if it's just they accidentally ended up in the river. So a lot of interesting parts in that case for sure.
A story like that really does blend a lot of supernatural events with true crime. I mean, you look at David Politis, that's what he kind of looks for too. And in this case, where a whole family just kind of vanishes, that would kind of lead potentially to that as well. When you're looking at this, where do you find your information?
I pretty much scour the depths of the internet for as much as I can find. I typically try to find as much information about any kind of case that I'm researching as I can. I don't want to kind of just find one source and go based off of that. I want to make sure that I'm covering as much as I can and getting all of the facts that I can. And I try to, I'm not going on Wikipedia and, going from there. I'm trying to, doing my best to find as credible sources as I can. And yeah, just trying my best to find as much as I can on each
So what
case.
caught your attention about this case? Never mind the family went and disappeared, but what kind of caught your attention that there could be something different about
Um,
this?
I don't I don't have a way to really describe it. I more so, if I had heard about the case on another podcast, and it like certain stories, certain subjects kind of give me like a feeling where I'm like, "Ooh, okay, there's something more to this." And I want to kind of know what it is, and I'm not sure. It's the kind of like unknown that I love. And that's why I said earlier, pretty much anything I cover, it's going to be just something that I find weird, because it gives me that like feeling like, "Oh, okay, there's like something going on here." And I don't know, it's like a it's just I find it so intriguing. So that's one of those cases where I heard it on another podcast and I was like, there is something weird going on here. Maybe, I mean, in reality, maybe there wasn't. Maybe it was just an accident, but for me, it gave me that feeling and I was like, I want to cover this on my podcast. And that's why there are some true crime episodes on there, because there are cases like I'm a big fan of true crime as well. I don't want to go too much into true crime, but I love kind of more like the old-timey true crimes, the disappearances where there's a lot of weird coincidences and a lot of unanswered questions. So that's, yeah, kind of how I landed on that one.
I think that's one of my favorite blend is true crime with the paranormal. Like it's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
you
Right.
want to be that voice for the victims, if
right.
possible. Like me being a paranormal
Exactly.
investigator, and getting that story out, even if it's an EVP, a word that could connect a dot or a name, or getting any sorts of communication, especially
Right,
in those traumatic spots where there was a murder, where there was a gun recovered, or people floating down
right.
the river. If you can communicate with them, that's gold to a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
With 28 seconds to go, uh, when we come back from the break, we're going to get into Ouija boards.
Yeah.
A lot of people scare them. A lot of people are afraid to talk about them, but not us here on Spaced Out Radio. Why not just go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right through the alphabet and see where the message takes us? Liz Silva is our guest tonight. She's our special guest with Merle on Ghosts of the Great White North here on Spaced Out Radio. She has a podcast called Haunted Hangout Podcast. It can be found on Spotify. Make sure you check it on out. This is Spaced Out Radio, everybody. Stay tuned. All right, we are clear. Let me just unmute you guys.
Perfect. That was good.
ABCDGFHIJKL Merle.
Merle. Dave, I will be right back because I have something that I'm going to unveil when we talk about the Ouija boards.
Just remember, radio audience can't see.
I know they can't, but we can talk about it in detail.
All right. Hi, Liz.
Hi.
Hi, Dave. Dunzel says he's subscribing to your podcast.
Oh, nice.
Good.
That's awesome.
Good. So are you in Vancouver?
No, I'm in near Toronto.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. It's okay.
Mississauga? You look like a Mississauga person.
No, Oakville.
Close enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's right beside Mississauga.
I'm in British Columbia. Close enough. We broadcast on in Mississauga.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yep. What do you think of Macho Merle, Merle Savage?
That was good, Dave. What's next?
I don't know. I don't know yet.
Dave likes to change my name every half an hour we do this.
Yeah, that's funny.
J Truth Seeker dropping a bomb on us about Caribou Con. Let's not do Ouija boards at Caribou Con.
No. Don't tell me what to do. Kidding.
Okay, Stuart. You totally went Stuart there for a second.
I'll probably have some of my collection up there for people to view, to be honest.
Nice. The Ferret, how are you? Ozzy Ange, how are you? I don't even know what I'm speaking on.
You're just on the YouTube chat, right?
No, I'm saying at Caribou Con.
Oh, you don't know what you're going to talk about?
No, I don't know. I've got 4 weeks to figure it out.
Oh, I can't do that. I can't operate like that. You should do the Flight 21 thing.
No, because then people are going to want to go out there.
Fair. Yes, there's a big paranormal convention up at the 108 Mile Ranch area that we're doing. So Dave and the 108 Mile Ranch are hosting it, and he's bringing a bunch of paranormal people up from. Oh, we got some Americans, some BC people. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Oh, J Truth is. You've got permission from J Truth. Viewing them is okay.
Thank you.
By the way, Merle, I changed the schedule a little bit.
Okay.
I had you right before Grant Cameron on the Saturday.
Okay.
I'm going to flip you guys.
Okay.
So that way you can take over the ghost tour after that.
I'm just there for the good time, Dave. Right?
Hey, I'm just here to make grilled cheese sandwiches.
You look like a guy that likes a grilled cheese sandwich.
Tim Hortons has a good grilled cheese and bacon. Have you tried that?
No, I don't.
That's a good sandwich.
Yeah,
good sandwich.
I'm more of a Starbucks guy.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell. Covering up your septum ring and your blue hair.
Oh boy.
I thought it was funny.
That was good. That was good.
Uh-huh. Let's see. All right.
Liz, do you own any Ouija boards?
No.
No.
That's if I found like a nice like antique one like the ones you have, I might buy it. I don't think I would use it though. just
No,
for show.
my old one, I call it the wall hanger. I won't use it.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
Guys, 15 seconds. Thank you to T-Bone for a lone super chat. And do us a favor, if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithms if you're listening on YouTube. Hit subscribe if you're listening on the podcast side. And here we go. This is the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in as we continue with Ghosts of the Great White North. Our main man, Merle, is here. Before we bring Merle and special guest Liz Silva back in, we want to remind all of you that if you've had portions of, or if you missed portions of this show or others, our archives are always free on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Merle is here for Ghosts of the Great White North. We do this segment each and every month where we talk a little bit paranormal, supernatural, and our special guest tonight is Liz Silva. She has a great podcast called Haunted Hangout, which can be found on everything from Spotify to every podcast network. Merle and Liz, welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, Liz, we will start with you on this one. Ouija boards. Now, Merle is a collector of Ouija boards. A lot of people don't even like hearing about them. You know, they would sooner listen to a conference on flat Earth than actually talk about Ouija boards. Why do you like them? Why do you talk about them?
I do like them. I am definitely still on the side of I don't know if I want to mess with them, really. I like looking into the history. That's kind of how we were kind of looking at it when it came to the podcast. We wanted to know the history of it, how it came to be, all of that. But yeah, I'm still a bit more on the side of I don't know if I want to do any. I have maybe as like a kid, I did maybe one or two Ouija board sessions. Since then, I'm kind of like, I'm okay if I if I don't do one. Just, in case, I don't know. The idea of opening something up or, having something attached to me after something, I'm like,
Come on, you just gotta
maybe not.
You just gotta go with it sometimes.
You gotta go with it. Hey, if you get an attachment, you're never alone. You're not lonely, No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I don't know.
What scares you about?
It's not that I find them scary necessarily. Part of me is like, do I want to possibly open myself up to something negative coming in that I can't get rid of? That's where I'm kind of like, okay, I'm okay with not doing it. I'm not opposed to playing with a Ouija board. If someone else were to be like, hey, I have this Ouija board, do you want to play? I'd be like, okay, sure. But I'm not going to go out of my way to find a Ouija board and go conducting a Ouija board session.
I'm a big Ouija board guy. So for our YouTube audience, here's a treat for you. But we'll be very descriptive to the radio and the podcast people. But I got a brand new one that I picked up. So what I'm showing on the camera as an undated Ouija board. I do not know the date of it. It's old. It's painted on, not like the normal ones with plastic. And the person I purchased it from kind of quadruple wrapped it and left it on their porch for me to pick up. And the weird part is I didn't open it for about a month after getting it. And I don't know why. I just didn't. I wanted to do an unboxing video, but I just kept putting it off. I just didn't want to open it for whatever reason. And here we are, we opened it, and I'm still here. I think this is me only in my head. No, I'm kidding. Um, and yeah, I think this is number 19, in between 19 and 21. I don't remember how many I actually have of Ouija boards. So I
Wow.
haven't used it. Doesn't have a planchette, so I'll have to get a planchette for it.
Why do you, for our audience listening in, Merle, why do you collect them?
I don't know, man. I'm so drawn to them. I can't stop. It's an addiction. I just need all of the boards. My oldest one is pre-William Fold. I bought that. That's probably, I think mine's 1882, the one I have.
Wow.
Ish. And then the other one is, I have one from 1912. I have one from the 40s, a couple from the 50s. Older the better. I don't want any of that Parker Brothers stuff. If it has paper on it, I don't want it. I'm just so into the history of them. And Dave, you know me, like I love a good ghost hunt, a paranormal investigation. Um, I, I call it the analog version of ghost hunting. So people are all wild about spirit boxes and all that sorts of stuff. But to me, it's the same thing. One's just digital and one's manual. And at the end of the day, there's no caller ID in who you're talking to or communicating with. So if it's a spirit box, a REM pod, a Ouija board, a motion sensor, you don't really know who you're talking to. That's why you always have to do it with respect and caution. And I guess the Ouija board is the ultimate blocked number, private number, because they have full control when you're using a Ouija board. A lot of people be like, "No, you're moving it. No, you're moving it." But a lot of times, people ain't moving it. I've had multiple Ouija board encounters, especially when I was younger. I experimented with them a lot more. But the majority of the ones I have, like, I don't just sit in my house and summon ghosts all the time. They're still in their boxes, and I just kind of hoard them, and display my really nice ones, especially when I go to Paracons or conventions or markets. I love to do a little haunted object or macabre display where they look great in. Big Ouija guy.
There are so many stories out there about weird, strange happenings with Ouija boards. Liz, what's one of the favorites that you have heard out there?
Um, I I don't know if there's like a general one that I have, but I do know some friends who used one and they had a really weird experience with it, which is probably why I'm more hesitant to use it. So this was back in high school. They were using one of the Ouija boards and I can't remember it. I think it ended up spelling out something weird. And I think all the lights like went out and the TV started going off and then they got a weird call from their mom and their mom was saying something like it was her but it didn't sound like her. It was something bizarre like that. I can't remember the full details of it, but yeah, that's probably one of those Ouija stories that have stuck with me, especially since it was people that I knew who had had that experience, so
Or what's your favorite Ouija board story?
Oh, probably one of the first times I ever used it. I was doing it with my old high school friends. It was a hot summer night, kind of like now. No alcohol, no stimulants. We were just friends hanging out. And my one buddy brought a Ouija board over, and he's like, "Let's try this out." And me being a bit of a troll skeptic, I'm like, "Nah." But I think this is where the Ouija and I met eyes. And basically, so we started using it, me and my friend and my other friend. He was a little too, he didn't want to use it, he didn't want to touch it, wanted nothing to do with it, but he was watching. And he goes, "Okay, what's my worst fear?" And the board spelt out fully white pit bull. And we're kind of looking at each other like, do the whole, no, you're moving it. Come on. And you just see him go pale as a ghost. And we're like, uh-oh. And then he's like, hey, guys, we have to stop. We have to stop. And an hour later, we're parched. So we go to the local 7-Eleven and go fill up on some Slurpees. And while we're walking there, this white pitty comes out of nowhere. And I lived in an area where there weren't stray dogs. I lived in a nicer area growing up. And this dog separated him from us and was lunging at him, barking at him, like nipping at him. Didn't actually bite him, but it scared the crap out of him. And then the dog just ran off. It was gone. And I can't explain that. No one else could explain that because we didn't know how random is that to happen with the white pit bull, and it spelt it out. That being said, curiosity killed the cat. So about a month later, 2 months later, we fire up the board again, same friends. And our friend, 16, 17 years old. So this was like a million years ago. And we're doing the same thing. Our scared friend, he's still on the sidelines watching us, asking the questions, but heaven forbid he touches the board. And he goes, I'm inviting anyone, any spirit that's around to come in. You're welcome to come in. And so my friend's parents are gone to their cabin for the weekend. So it's just me and my buddies hanging out in their basement. The door's closed. And all of a sudden we hear a bang, bang, bang on the basement door, not the front door, the basement door to where we were at. And so we look at each other and we all go, white as a ghost. And we're like, no. And so we continue doing it. And then it bangs on the door again 3 times. And then I get the fortitude to get up and open the door. And then all of a sudden, a gust of wind comes in. It was like a giant fan what was coming into the room for a second. And it looked like somebody took their hand all along the curtains, like ran where all the curtains were closed. And then it went down to where we had a candle going, and the glass on the candle burst. And obviously the flame went out. And then we were done. We were done with Ouija for a while after that. And here I am with a Ouija board everywhere I look. So
wow. My personal favorite Ouija board story happened in 2014, I believe. 2013 or 2014, where we were using a spirit board, and all of a sudden there was a direct message from me. And it said, in 9 weeks' time, you are going to win the lottery. Okay. I said, I played along. I said, wonderful. I said, how much? It said 43 million, which was an odd number. I said, where do I get my ticket? Spells out same place you always do. Okay, fine. Should I look at my numbers? No. Because I always put my ticket in my wallet, never look at my numbers. So 9 weeks later, which doesn't still to this day doesn't make sense to me, because if you know anything about Canadian lottery, it only goes up by factors of 2, 5, or 10. You can't make 43 million on 2, 5, or 10. And 9 weeks later, the draw was for $43 million.
Wow.
And so I went that morning, got my ticket from the gas station, had a brutal day at work. After work, we go back to our friend's house. I totally forgot that it was a lottery night. Get back on the spirit board. The spirit board spells out, congratulations. And I'm like, oh yeah, the lottery ticket. My friend says to me, I'm like, yeah, it's in my wallet in my car. So I run out to my car, grab my wallet, get the ticket, run into the house, check the numbers. I didn't have a single number. Not one, not even a free play. I got back on that board and I was like, Are you kidding me right now? Like, is my life a joke to you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And like, you're laughing at me. No, we're not. I'm like, yeah, you are. He said, you made me feel like an idiot. And that bugged me. I didn't like that. That showed me the control and the power that they could have.
They got your hopes up and crushed you.
Yep.
Absolutely, they did.
Yeah, they were messing with you.
No, it was a total mess. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't use a Ouija board or a spirit board for a number of years until you brought that one up here, Merle. And we played on it. And that was what, 10 years?
Yeah.
10 years since I used a Ouija board? No. Now, would I use one again? Yes, I'm not afraid not to use them. But on the flip side, I do know that when you're communicating, anything can happen.
Truth. My two prized possession ones, the ones I was talking about from the 1800s, I found on a fluke in an antique store. Just it was just there. It was cheap. It was way cheaper than what it's actually worth. And then the second one, I was driving to Spokane to visit my friends, and there was this fruit stand slash antique store slash craft market. And I'm like, all right, let's go see the knickknacks they got here. And boom, the first thing I saw was a Ouija board, a 1912 Ouija board with the matching planchette. I'm like, I don't care how much US dollar this is going to cost me. It's coming home. And that one was by fluke. So sometimes I wonder if the boards kind of find you. And I've talked to other people where other collectors in the Ouija board scene, and they often find boards fluke or they're given boards. I've been given boards a few times, and you just end up with more than you really need. But
Mike,
I
have
don't
you
know.
ever,
I don't see anything wrong with them. I don't think they're bad. I think The Exorcist gave them a bad name. I think horror movies give them a bad name because it's a quick hit of scary when you really amp up a board for fiction purposes. And I don't know. I think if they're respected, if you're fine with them, it'll give you the same results as any other sorts of spiritual communication.
Merle, have you ever had anybody just call you up and say, hey, I have this Ouija board. I don't like it. I want it out of here. Can you come get it?
Yes, twice. Um, the one I keep in my gearbox, the one that you played on, Dave, that was a given board. And then I have another one from the 1950s that was also given to me. Neither of them. Well, whenever I get a new board, I kind of purify them, but none of them have ever given me goosebumps or a problem. Um, I know some of my psychic friends are like, "You're crazy," but no, the two I've got have given me no problems. The one that I keep in my gearbox with all my ghost hunting equipment, that's the most active board that I have. It'll talk to anyone. Um, and I think it's been around like even before I had it. People have used it a lot, and I think if you're looking for a bad time, you'll probably find a bad time. But if you boundaries, people get boundaries, spirits get boundaries. If you put up a boundary, I 9.5 out of 10 times, call me wrong, Dave. Um, they won't go over it because you kind of control that situation of shutting it down.
How about for you, Liz?
Yeah, like I said before, I'm still a little hesitant, but I'm definitely open to using one for sure.
What is
We
the
have Merle and Liz Silva on Spaced Out Radio tonight as we are talking ghosts and paranormal all night long. Let's have some fun here. And Merle, when we kind of go into, the spiritual side, you had uh, a long time ago an interaction with a certain haunted doll named Mandy. And Liz, I saw that you did an episode on your haunted hangout about Mandy the haunted doll. Have you ever
I
heard
did.
Merle's story about how Mandy almost killed him?
No, I have not heard that.
I retired that story, Dave, but we can bring that out. This would have been 2015, so like 90 years ago. And that was when this is when I was getting into the haunted objects and that sorts of stuff where I'm like, I don't know, can a doll really be haunted? Come on. They sure can.
Yeah.
But so me and a previous team were at the Quesnel Museum in northern British or central British Columbia.
Yeah.
And there's Mandy in the flesh. So our one investigator, he's kind of staring at Mandy. He's locked in. And I say his name. I go back and forth a handful of times. And he's not listening, nothing. He's just locked in on Mandy's eyes. And then I'm kind of looking at Mandy too. I'm like, it's a doll. And all of a sudden, the investigator, he gets up. He's pale. He goes outside and pukes his guts out. And he was speaking gibberish for a little bit, and we kind of had to calm him down and give him a bit of a reset outside.
Wow.
And he said Mandy was talking to him. He could hear mumbling and all sorts of things like that. So while we're setting our gear up, I'm going back and forth, kind of side-eyeing Mandy. I'm like, okay, that was kind of weird with the investigator. And then and then I kind of made eye contact with her, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird. And in my mind, I'm like, hi, Mandy, I'm Mike. I'm here just to have a chat with you later. We'd love to talk. I'm kind of singing that just in my head. And then I couldn't not look at her eyes. Bizarre feeling. And then right before we go to investigate, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm just going to go outside. I think I had like a Monster, like an energy drink and some like almonds outside. I'm like, I'm just going to have a quick snack and we can start. The last thing I remember was opening the door of the Quesnel Museum to go to my truck at the time. And then the next thing I remember was our team medium shaking me and waking me up because I was walking towards the Trans-Canada Highway to oncoming traffic.
Wow.
Tranced out. And it was
Oh my
at that
God.
point on, I'm like, they can really screw with you. Respect. And Mandy made herself known that she's in there and she can really interact with you if you want. And
Yeah.
like, I wasn't being disrespectful to her. I would have never deemed myself as a disrespectful investigator. I'd say eager. They're eager sometimes, a little type A sometimes. But after that, I really took a step back and kind of analyzed how to talk to these objects, these locations with a little more nurturing versus a plan. And I
Right.
find Mandy taught me a very valuable lesson with paranormal investigating. And every time I visited the doll since, it's gonna sound silly, but I'm sure she's saying to me, she's like, "Do you remember? Do you remember what happened?
Yeah.
Keep on track." And yeah,
Wow.
Dave, you
That's
were
crazy.
around when that happened.
Yeah, no, I wasn't there that night when it happened,
No.
but you know what? I was there after to talk to you about the results, and I know how freaked out you were about, coming out of that trance and getting sick and realizing that you were really close by the highway that you were about to walk onto, which is a little creepy nonetheless. But we got to go to break here at the top of the hour. Merle with Ghosts of the Great White North. Special guest Liz Silva from Haunted Hangout Podcast. When we return, more haunted dolls, more haunted hospitals, and more haunted topics.
is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott.
Okay, guys, we're just going to play a quick video for about 5 minutes here.
Our merch is Bigfoot approved. We have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have hoodies, we have socks, we have hats, we have stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can buy Spaced Out Radio merch and look the part? Our merch ain't ugly, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Lurking within the forested region of the 108-mile ranch, where the worlds of the normal and paranormal collide. CaribouCon is waiting for you, bringing together a panel of renowned experts in the paranormal, cryptid research, and UFO phenomena fields. Get ready for a spine-tingling weekend in the heart of British Columbia. Enjoy fascinating discussions, presentations, tours of local haunted areas, and skywatching. Learn from investigators, authors, and enthusiasts who explore everything from ghost hunting techniques to sightings of Sasquatch and beyond. Whether you're a seasoned paranormal researcher or just love a good spooky story, this is your chance to connect with fellow enthusiasts in one of BC's most mysterious areas. Tickets are on sale now. Grab yours before they're gone. Visit CaribouCon.com for details, tickets, and updates.
Are you ready to dive into the weird and wonderful world of cryptids, cartoons, and chaos? Meet Dirty Filth, Spaced Out Radio's resident cartoonist and master of the mysterious. Every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific, join him live on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel for Cryptid Cartoons with Dirty Filth, a hilarious hour where he sketches bizarre beasts, shares mind-bending stories, and battles his mischievous cats. Whether you're a UFO enthusiast, paranormal fan, or just love quirky art, Dirty Filth filters the universe through his unique lens, creating cartoons that capture the strange, dark, and supernatural. Follow Dirty Filth on X at Filth1 or Facebook at Dear Filth for more filthy fun. Find his link in the description below.
Spaced Out Radio wants to hear from you. We love our community, and your voice truly matters. Drop a comment after every show and let us know what you thought. Agree with our guests? Tell us why. Disagree? We want to hear that too. We read every single comment. Jump into the live chat during the broadcast and be part of the conversation in real time. Got a killer topic idea? Your suggestions help shape the show. And if you want to take it even further, join our Patreon for bonus content and direct feedback opportunities with Dave and the team. This is your show as much as it is ours. Whether you're a longtime listener or brand new, we want your thoughts, your questions, and your ideas. And let's keep building this incredible community together. Spaced Out Radio, where the conversation never ends. What are you waiting for? We're listening.
With 5 explorable Gold Rush-era buildings said to be home to spirits of a time forgotten, the 108-mile heritage site in the heart of BC's Caribou region offers a unique opportunity for thrill seekers and history buffs. For an evening of historical fun, step into our guided ghost tours, where spine-chilling stories of gold rush legends and unexplained encounters come alive. For those craving even more, inquire with us about conducting a hands-on paranormal investigation of your own. And if you're truly brave, book our haunted sleepovers. Spend the night at our B&B inside the McNeil House to truly experience this historical landmark and its ghostly secrets firsthand. For booking or inquiries, go to haunted108.com.
All right, we are back, and a big thank you to T-Bone for our lone super chat of the night. We greatly appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who is here. Biofuel Brad, nice to have you here as we'll see you at Caribou Con. Thank you for getting your tickets. And Terry Hall and his beautiful mustache are here. He'll be back in hour number 3 with the weird news of the week. This is a great show so far. Let's keep it going with the paranormal talk. Tyler, how are you, my friend? Thank you for jumping on in. And we're coming back in about 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Here we go with the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in. Thank you for joining us as we are talking ghosts, spirits, hauntings, and so much more on Ghosts of the Great White North. But before we bring back our guests, we want to say hello to all of you tuning us in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network, our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is obliged. Obliged is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's bring in our main man, Merle, coming on in as we talk with Liz Silva. She has a great podcast called Haunted Hangout Podcast. It can be found on Spotify, where she talks about all these haunted, amazing stories. Merle, Liz, welcome back.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Dave, I think that's the first time ever I've been able to get Desert Clam's password without Googling it.
Isn't that nice?
My brain knew it. Yeah, it's great. Now, Liz.
Yeah, obliged. Obliged is your password.
That's
Haunted
a good word.
hospitals, haunted hotels, haunted everything. I mean, when we look at this list of hauntings, Merle and Liz, I mean, what makes a hospital so haunted? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of death in a hospital and a lot of nurses. I was talking to a nurse recently who was telling me, like, our local hospital, how creepy it is, where, you know, at 3:00 in the morning, she'll have patients, you know, buzzing them in saying, "Can you tell those kids to shut up? I'm trying to sleep here." I mean, we get this all the time, Liz.
Yep. Oh yeah, hospitals are crazy. They are very haunted. My sister actually is a nurse, and she's had her own experiences at a few of her placements while she was in nursing school, and it just, I don't know. There's so much death there, so it makes sense, right?
Tell us some of her experiences, if you can.
Yeah. So, her most recent experience was she was working a night shift, and she kept noticing one of the patient's rooms, the light was going on and off. And she knew that the patient was asleep, and she knew that, you know, it's a light switch on the wall, and he was, you know, asleep in bed. It wasn't him flicking the light. And she said it was kind of turning off, and then maybe like a couple minutes later it would turn on, and it kept doing that for about 2 hours, and she has no idea why. And it was no other room on the floor was doing that. It was just his. So yeah, she's had a couple experiences. But we actually had a listener write into us recently who used to work at a nursing home, and she had a similar thing with the kids. A lot of her patients were saying that they were hearing kids, even actually the nurses, the staff was hearing the kids like laughing and giggling. And then one of them kept seeing kids crying at the foot of her bed and had to be moved to a different unit because she couldn't sleep.
I wonder if that's like near death experiences.
Yeah.
The reason I bring that up is because like my dad was knocking old heaven's door in see that, Dave? Guns N' Roses.
I love it.
November,
See you
December of
next week.
of last year. Like he's fine now. He made a miraculous recovery, but he was talking about go get your mom. My mom passed away like 2006. She was just in here, and so was the ugly man. He was. It's really and just reading about it's all near death. It's a
Yeah.
bit of delirium, but it's
Yeah.
also these are all telltale signs of that happening. And with the hospitals, it's an energy mecca.
Mhm.
You have a baby being born, so it's somebody's best day of their life,
Right.
and down the room to the right, someone's dying, so it's the worst day.
Right.
And I think that's a perfect storm of paranormal activity, death, birth, and basically trauma. You're crying happy, you're crying sad, you're angry, and I think that all just brings in the ghosts, my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So many people in the medical industry have had these encounters, but it's not just hospitals. It's also places like asylums that have been around across Canada when the people who were mentally suffering had, passed away, or maybe they eventually got out, but their spirits seem to come back there. I mean, we could talk about a lot of weird hauntings because for many patients in hospitals or asylums, they might not even know they're deceased.
I think that happens a lot. I think an accident victim, a murder victim, somebody that had a sudden heart attack, an aneurysm, or whatever. You have an aneurysm, you don't know you're done. It's over. And before you can even think that it's over, it's over. And I think the spirit doesn't it doesn't sink in like just like in the movies. Like I think the spirit sees the dead body or their previous body, but I don't think it really sets in. Like I think I envision like spirits frantically running around the hospital trying to rattle their loved one or their mom or their partner, but they can't because they're dead. And I think a lot of that happens, unfortunately, especially in asylums as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a lot of spirits are possibly as and why they're, they're stuck there is because that they don't realize that they're deceased, and they're not able how are you able to, if you believe that, spirits cross over, how are you able to cross over if you don't even know that you're dead? So, yeah, it's just, yeah, mental asylums, and those have crazy histories as well.
Have you touched on any asylums on your podcast?
I've done one. I did the Athens Asylum in Ohio. I've covered that. That's the only asylum that I've done so far.
Tell us about it. What is the Athens Asylum, and what are some of the encounters?
So the Athens Asylum, it's a couple months ago, so I'm trying to recall. Um, so it's actually nowadays it's part of Ohio University. So a lot of students actually have encounters there because some of the buildings are used like for their dorms. Um, and there's obviously, any kind of asylum that was built back in the 1800s you know that there was some not great things going on there. So
Sure.
of course they were doing like lobotomies and that kind of thing. Um, so that was happening there. The people who built the hospital, from what I recall, they were following a certain like plan that this guy had come up with, where if you design the hospital around the patient's care rather than just building like, like a big square and putting everyone in there, you actually like design the building specifically so it kind of has like it's shaped as like bat wings, so every room would have access to sunlight, that kind of thing. It was supposed to be, when you look at it on paper, it sounds like it would be good for the patients, but again, they were still doing the not so great things because I guess they didn't know any better at the time. So unfortunately, a lot of patients still suffered there. And of course that, that causes a lot of spirits to linger and all of that. There is I'd say the biggest kind of, it's not a legend. It did happen. There was a patient in the 70s who went missing. And I think she was missing for at least a month or so, and they couldn't really figure out how she had left her room because the room had been locked from the outside, but somehow she ended up out of her room, and then they ended up finding her in, a wing that wasn't used, and
Mhm.
there was, for where her body had been lying, there's now a stain on the floor that will not go away. No
Oh,
matter
interesting.
what they do. Yeah, they've tried to cover it up, to paint over it, it just will not go away, and people have said from the research that I conducted that it's almost like, her spirit is tied to the stain. So people
Mhm.
have seen her spirit in that room where she was found, and they've seen her in other areas as well. So that's kind of a probably, if you look into the Athens Asylum, that's probably the biggest, like haunting or legend that will come up with regards to that. And then there's a lot of other spooky stuff going on there too.
Tell us all the spooky stuff.
Um, there's I'm trying to remember all of it. There's, the seeing nurses, around. That to me, I don't know if it's residual. Those kind of things always kind of give residual because it seems like they're just going about their workday. Um, there's um one of the ones that has stuck with me from this that I find really odd is in one of the buildings that is a dorm now, people
Mhm.
who've lived there say that they hear basketballs, like, bouncing throughout the
Interesting.
halls and, like, running, even though, like, that there wouldn't, be a basketball team there, and there's, like, an urban legend that, a girls' basketball team, like, got into a bus crash on campus and they all died, and that's what they're hearing. I looked into it, I didn't find any, like, factual evidence to back that up, but that one stuck to me because that's kind of out of place. You wouldn't expect to hear something like that, so that's another weird one, and then, there's the typical disembodied footsteps and hearing voices, and then some people hear, like, chains rattling in the basement, even
Hmm.
though that's not something that, if you look back in the history of the Athens Asylum, that's not something that they said that was going on, but it makes you kinda wonder if they were doing that and then, they kinda hid it in a way so no one would ever find out, but it's like,
Hmm.
why are we hearing these sounds then? So, yeah, definitely
I have
some
investigated
stuff there.
Yeah, I've investigated one asylum. I did, St. Ignatius in, Colfax, Spokane, Washington,
Oh, wow, okay.
and, that one, man, I I'm pretty good at going to haunted locations by now. I'm pretty good at going alone to play, like, just while exploring myself, but man, that place, nope. Um, eh, St. Ignatius, it was ran by the church, so it had a ton of nuns in there, and they're the ones that laid the hammer down and did the disciplining, did the teaching, did the
Yeah,
nursing, and, man, you look over your shoulder and you swear one's following you, like, at all
yeah,
times. And, I was just talking to someone about St. Ignatius, and so what I like to do when I go to locations is I like to just walk around by myself, kinda take in the location, and try and just smell it, live it, feel it before I investigate and make contact. Because I kind of just want to know how the place is, and I don't want to be a cowboy going into these places being the old "show yourself,
Yeah.
bro, come at me," you know. Um, and walking around Saint Ignatius, I stopped halfway through.
Wow.
I'm like, and there's one room there called Rose's room, and Rose was one of the patients there. Did not like men. But a lot of the guards and a lot of the people were a little rough back then, with patients. And I know Rose loved beer and cigarettes.
Mm.
So when you go and she was given that stuff there because it was her home, right? They look after her
Yeah.
since she was. And we my one friend, she brought in cigarettes and a beer. And after that was presented in the room, the energy of not being welcomed lifted. And
Wow.
we were able to like hang out in Rose's room, chat, have good communication. We got some pretty cool EVPs. And but going up to the nuns' quarters, I wouldn't
Mm.
wish that on my enemy.
Yeah.
um Something about just it just felt so strict and very disciplinary, which I guess is par for the course back then. And just a lot of the like religious old religious items on the walls and all that kind of probably didn't help the creep factor.
No.
Um and but yeah, no, I think sanitariums or asylums, they're a mecca of energy.
Oh yeah.
Um,
100%.
and what you said earlier kind of unlocked something in my head,
Mhm.
um, about even you're talking about the one that you did your story on, how they're built. I know that
Yeah.
person, the asylum, we'll call builder. He was out of Pennsylvania because I did a couple years ago a deep dive on asylums
Yeah.
and like Waverly Hills, Penhurst, the one you mentioned,
Yeah.
they're all shaped like a bat.
Yes.
And that was because tuberculosis. They said during tuberculosis time, they said everyone needed air, fresh air, but they had to be separate.
Right.
So they would wheel
Right.
everyone out in the bat wing, and because all of their rooms would have a patio, and it's just interesting. It's interesting how they tried to Walmart asylums per
Yeah.
se back in the day. When I say Walmart, I just mean have everything kind of uniformed.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely I had no idea that that was something that they did back then. Like in terms of the designs of the asylum. So that was very interesting to learn while I was researching that the Athens Asylum.
We have 6 minutes to go before we have to go to break. At the bottom of the hour, our main man, Merle, in the paranormal world, hanging on out with us with special guest Liz Silva. Liz, when you are doing your podcast, you have so many different topics that you go to. What about haunted hotels? I mean, a lot of people don't think about it when they rent a hotel that, geez, their room or the haunted or the hotel rather might be haunted.
Um yeah, haunted hotels, that's probably my number one in terms of what I love to research because usually depending on the hotel there's sometimes a very interesting history to it, which if you listen to my podcast, you know that we love the hauntings, but we also love the history of everything. Um, and yeah, I've covered a few good hotels on the podcast, and some of my favorite episodes are obviously the ones about hotels.
Can you tell us
Next
some?
have yeah, we want to know
Um,
your top 3.
top three, my top for sure is the Crescent Hotel in Arkansas. That one is, I think to the state my favorite episode that I've written. Um, Trying to think other ones.
Tell
I
us about the
just
Crescent.
the Crescent. So
Mm.
the Crescent is probably one of my tops because of its history. So it was originally built in the area of Arkansas that has all the like freshwater, the springs. I
Yeah.
can't quite recall what it's called, but so it was pretty much built for, you know, all the fancy people who had money. And then eventually it became a college, a women's college. And then it was bought by this essentially a con artist who used it as a cancer clinic. It was the Baker Cancer Clinic, but he had no medical background. He was like a performer. He had done like vaudeville and that kind of thing, but he just wanted to make money and realized that, you know, people suffering from cancer were, you know, would be desperate enough to pay him for his treatment because he was claiming that he can do it without radiation. But it was all without radiation, without having to do any like invasive surgeries or anything. But it was all a fraud. Like he didn't actually know what he was doing. He was injecting them with this like serum that had no medical quality to it whatsoever. And unfortunately, a lot of people suffered there and died. And he essentially got away with it. He ended up getting caught on a mail fraud charge because he was sending out pamphlets to people about his cancer clinic, and it was essentially lies. So that's how they got him on the mail fraud charge, because he was mailing out stuff that wasn't true. But he pretty much got a slap on the wrist for that and a fine. And then they ended up closing the cancer clinic at the hotel, and then he went and tried to do it again somewhere else, but they wouldn't let him. And then he ended up living out the rest of his life on a yacht and died, which is, to me, I'm like, ugh, but I hate, like, he something more should have happened to him, but you know, anyway. But yeah, so that was there, and then finally, you know, it eventually became a hotel again, and there's just so much with the history there, with regards to the cancer clinic. And then there's a bunch of resident ghosts as well. There's I believe his name was Michael. He was one of the original workers on the hotel, and he had died by falling. I think he fell a couple of stories down, and apparently haunts the room where his body had fallen and where he died. So people have seen him there. And then there's also a ghost cat that's there. His name is Morris. He was the hotel's cat for, I think, like 20 years. And then people still claim that they see him today. There's a man, I think one of the doctors actually, who's often seen around the hotel wearing a top hat, which I don't like ghosts in top hats. That freaks me out. So that gives me the extra chills there. There's a whole lot. That's just the kind of the tip of the iceberg. But another creepy thing that happened was, I think in 2019, they were doing some landscaping on the property, and they ended up finding a bunch of bottles from when it was a cancer clinic, and the bottles had like human remains in them, essentially, like in alcohol, like preserved remains. And they found hundreds and hundreds of bottles. So some of those are on display now in the basement, so you can actually go in and kind of see how that was all like set up. So it's a very, very cool history and a lot of hauntings there. So that one's my top for sure, and it's on my bucket list to visit one day.
Me too. That is on my bucket list, 100%.
Yeah.
Merle, have you ever thought of trying to get into Tranquil in Kamloops, British Columbia?
I have. That's a no-go zone currently.
I heard that the reason why they don't allow paranormal adventures there anymore is because like 10, 15 years ago, some MTV like television show screwed it up for everybody.
Oh wow.
Yep, they did. They came in for like a paranormal investigation, but they it was one of those just how scared can you get type shows. Mm-hmm. And they did graffiti, they ruined it, they put holes in the walls and that sorts of stuff, which is absolutely brutal because it paints the paranormal community and what the do-gooders, like I consider myself a do-gooder, preserving history, try to set out to do.
Right.
And
hold that thought. We're going to go to break right now on Spaced Out Radio. listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott. All right, we're clear.
That was a good half hour. I think the next half hour, let's continue hotels. I have a couple cool hotel stories I can talk about because I won't stay in places that aren't haunted. They have to be haunted, and I need the haunted room.
Yeah.
It's a
I feel that.
it's a need, not a want.
Yeah. It's a requirement.
Yeah. But no, the Crescent, that I know, like a lot of the shows have done investigations there. It looks
Yeah.
beautiful. I know what you meant. Like for our listeners, just give a quick Google to the Crescent Hotel. All the natural springs that like flow through the hotel, and it's paradise there.
Yeah,
And
it is.
it's crazy the shady history these places have. Like beautiful hotel to a cancer clinic, like the ladies' dorm, now a hotel.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Kind of like full circle, and
Yep.
and those walls, the paint, the everything, they experienced all of it. And I
Yeah.
think that's why you're left with the ghosts and
Right.
the guests that still inhabit there. But I
Exactly.
didn't know about the jars of human remains.
Yeah. Yeah. And apparently the lady who unearthed them, the landscaper, she was like plagued with like really weird dreams after, and she had to quit. Like she couldn't work at the hotel anymore.
I could imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah. Dave, would you stay there?
Of course.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would.
Like 21 anymore, but I'll definitely stay there.
Fair.
Because when I'm out, I'm out. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what's going on. I'm out.
I can sleep anywhere too.
We got 3 minutes.
Okay. Liz, where would you like to take it for the last half hour? We'll talk about some hotels. What else you want? It's all you for this one.
Trying to think. Maybe I just more recently covered Lizzie Borden and the house there, and I know there's that new show coming out. The
monster
one. Yeah, that's coming out soon. So
that's going to be really, really good or really, really bad.
Yeah,
I do
agree.
not think there's going to be an in between.
No, I don't think so either.
I just watched the movie Lizzie with Kristen Stewart 2 nights ago.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one.
I don't think it was historically accurate.
Yeah.
But it was a good story. It wasn't a bad movie. I didn't fall asleep during it, so that's a plus.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't bad. The Lizzie Borden story is weird. Like,
yeah,
there's the debate of did she or did she not do it?
Right. Yeah, and then the house too is very haunted apparently as well. So I don't know. That was a cool one to cover because it's both, right?
Yeah.
You got the true crime and then you got the paranormal.
That's what I like because I like to solve a good mystery if given the opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
But yeah.
Got about 121
minutes left. Awesome.
Merle.
What
do you think of the million? You didn't even comment on Merle Dre the Giant.
That one was okay.
What about the $1 million Merle?
Everyone's got a price. I like that one. What are we going home with, Dave? What's it going to be?
Oh, it's a good one.
Is that why you giggled? Fair. That's a good one too. Yep.
That's solid.
He was a good one. WWE champion.
It was a bonsai.
I'm going to display the board for the last half hour.
T-Bone, thank you for our lone super chat of the night. Thank you to everyone who has given us a thumbs up. A thumbs up. And good night, Ange. Have a great day at work over in Australia. How's tomorrow looking? Make sure I'm alive. Thank you. Here we go. Let's get right into the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We're all paranormal all night long. Apparently, I wanted to say it twice like an echo. Merle is here from the Paranormal Road Trippers, and Liz Silva is here, podcaster extraordinaire from Haunted Hangout Podcast, which you can find on Spotify. Merle, take it away.
Let's get back into the hotels. On the break, we were talking about the infamous Lizzie Borden house, and that is on my bucket list. I know it's on your bucket list. I know Dave would go for the good time. Tell us about that one. Tell us about the Lizzie Borden. Everyone knows who Lizzie Borden is.
Yeah.
Did she or did she not hack up the family? We don't. No one knows. That
really
would be a
hard
good
to-
true crime talk.
Yeah, it's really hard to say one way or the other because there's things that point to yes, she definitely did it, and then there's some things where you're like, oh, okay, but maybe she didn't do it. So, yeah, I feel like that's a good one for that people love to debate.
One thing I'm unsure about, like it's an interesting hotel. You can sleep there now.
Yes.
And what are some of the ghostly encounters there that people know of?
So surprisingly, the attic is the most like the hot spot for activity, which is surprising because nothing actually happened up in the attic. Everything that happened with the murders was on the main floor and in one of the second floor bedrooms. But apparently there's a lot that goes on up there. Like there's, hangers in the closet will jostle around. There's a rocking chair in one of the rooms that will just kind of start rocking back and forth. Weird things like that. Some other people have seen the ghosts of Lizzie, of course. And then some other people have actually seen her stepmom, Abby, who she maybe killed on the second floor. So people have seen her kind of like around in the hallway, like outside of the room where she was killed. People have seen her there. And then some other weird. So apparently there's 2 children spirits there. And I briefly mentioned this when I covered this on the podcast, but allegedly in their neighboring house, maybe like years before the Lizzie Borden murders had happened, a mother drowned her 2 children in a well that was near their property, and these spirits are attached to this house as well. I later found out that that family actually might be related to the Bordens. I haven't really looked into it, but I briefly saw somewhere that it was actually like their uncle or something. Like they were related somehow. So apparently those children spirits are there too. So there's quite a bit of stuff, and people who have slept in the room that shares a wall with Lizzie's room, they hear like a woman crying coming from Lizzie's room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bucket list.
Me too. High on the bucket list for sure.
Well, one of my favorite haunted hotels that I've stayed at twice now is the Silver Queen in Nevada, Virginia City. So, of course, like all the hotels back then, this one was a brothel for a while. And it said that one of the ladies there, she unalived herself in the tub there. And that's the infamous room 11. And that's where I stayed both times. And the first time I stayed there, This was actually on the tail end of our Spaced Out Radio listeners weekend party that we do in Vegas. I went up there with a couple of our friends, Brad and Ane. And Ane, she's a really gifted psychic. She's a 10 out of 10 on the psychic scale.
Oh.
And she comes into the Silver Queen, and all of a sudden she's walking up the stairs. She's like, because she used to do events in Virginia City with her other friend Jackie, and she's like, oh no. And then I'm looking at her, and Brad's looking at her like, what is oh no? Well, what is when a psychic says oh no? You're like, here we go. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden she comes in the room. Brad had the camera. Brad was actually filming me and NNA. And she started crying. And she almost fell over a few times. And I made a really good video, like it's on YouTube on my YouTube channel. And she was worried about, I don't want to say I guess the muscle. The guy that stayed in the hotel making sure the ladies were doing what they needed to do and getting paid. Wasn't a very friendly man, and he didn't like that I was staying in the room. And was going to make it very clear when no one was there, probably when I was trying to go to sleep, that I shouldn't be there. But I wasn't. I was there obviously with respect, just sleeping, nothing else. Maybe some paranormal investigating. But then that male spirit stepped into an A, and I'll say he started to really have a go at me and ask me what I'm doing, why I'm there, telling me to get out. And luckily, Brad had bought a couple little 1 ounce shots of like those little bottles you can buy in the States of alcohol. One was Canadian Crown Royal, and I think the other was just like Jack Daniels or something. And so me thinking, I'm like, here, I offer you these in peace to the spirit that was talking through Renee. And that kind of settled the situation. And just watching all of this unfold in front of me, and then Ane talking, the female spirit was talking through Ane as well after the aggressive male spirit was talking through her. And then all of a sudden the spirit was gone and Ane was back. And I'm like looking at these two, and I'm like, well, I'm sleeping in here alone tonight. Thank you.
Yeah.
But
Oh, God.
but the Silver Queen had always been on my bucket list since I started in the paranormal investigation genre scene. And both times I've been there, I've experienced footsteps in the hallways. That whole situation with like Ane the psychic was amazing to witness, because and a lot of the things she was saying was lining up to the history, was lining up to the facts of what happened back then.
Yeah.
And man, that I would go there again. I would take friends there. Haunted hotels can tell so many stories, and that's the beauty of them. And then 2 nights later, I go to the Gold Hill Hotel, which was the infamous hotel in Ghost Adventures, where the mine shaft was, where the brick was thrown.
Right.
And so I drive up to the Gold Hill Hotel all alone, and I'm like, it looks closed. I'm like, okay, we'll still go. I have a reservation. And there was one person working there, and she was like, here's your key. Time for me to go home. You're alone in here for 2 nights. Here's my cell number if anything happens. And the Gold Hill, for people who don't know, it's on the outskirts, on the outs of Virginia City, going towards Carson City. Middle of the desert. You're not in Virginia City. You're out. And I'm like, a lot of things can happen here. There can be ghosts. There could be people stopping as they see my vehicle. We don't know. But that place I was really amped up to do, but I was also really in my head because I was alone.
Yeah.
And so I get my gear ready. I'm trying to do a little documentary, so I'm talking to the camera by myself. So that's awkward in itself. And you know, the entire 2 nights I was there, not one thing happened.
Wow.
Out of all of the research I did on it, I even like one of the stories was if you take a bath in the haunted room, um, basically the door will open and you'll hear footsteps and all that. So you know what? It's what I did. And I didn't hear any footsteps,
Hmm.
didn't hear I got skunked on that one.
Yeah.
But I'd stay there again, but it's kind of neat looking back on it. All the stories you hear of these hotels, and so you go there thinking you're going into to the trenches of the paranormal investigating, but sometimes it's very peaceful sleep.
Well, yeah, I guess you never really know. Sometimes you think you're gonna get something, and then it's like what you said, it's quiet.
Yeah.
You never know.
What do you think stirs up the spirits in those places?
Um, I think people's energy, I think people's intent, I think people poking will stir things up. I'm not really much of a poker per se. I'm a communicator. Um, I think right place, right time. I think if you do enough research on the history, if you're throwing out names that are said to haunt there or work there or live there, usually helps as well. But sometimes I think it's luck. Sometimes I think a spirit will be like, I don't want to talk to this guy. And then other spirits would be like, he could have cool things to say. I think those are big variables in the situation of communicating or stirring things up in the places.
Yeah.
Then what would be another hotel that you would recommend or that is
Well, I
scary?
was thinking of more like local ones to me.
Mhm.
So there's Niagara on the Lake in Ontario here. It's pretty infamous for having a lot of different haunted spots, and um there's an inn and then like an actual hotel that are notorious for being haunted. And the inn, I've never stayed at the inn, but I have been there because they have like an English pub on the main floor, and I've been
Mhm.
there. Um, Anytime I've gone in there, I'm just my anxiety is just through the roof. Like both 2 times that I've been in there, I've had to leave and stand outside for a bit because I couldn't handle being there for that long. Which doesn't typically happen to me, but like I've said, I'm a bit of an empath, so I pick
Mhm.
up on energies, and I didn't at the time too, the first time, I didn't even know that it was, allegedly haunted, so I found out after and I was like, "Okay, well, that might explain why I went in there," and I was like, "Oh, there's just, like, a heaviness here." Um, but yeah, so that one, the story so it's called the Old Angel Inn in Niagara on the
Mhm.
Lake. It's allegedly haunted by a soldier from the War of 1812. So there's, like, this whole story where he was, um like, the whole I believe he was a British or Canadian soldier, and they knew that the Americans were coming, so they were all of them were fleeing, but he stayed behind because there was a girl that he had, was in love with, and he wanted to stay behind and wait for her, and she never showed up. So while he was there, the Americans came, and he ran and hid in the basement of the Old Angel Inn, and there was, like, wine barrels down there. So he went and hid in one of the barrels. They came down into the basement, and then they just, with their bayonets, stabbed each wine barrel, and one of them got him.
Oh,
So he
wow.
ended up dying in one of the wine barrels in the basement there. So it's allegedly his spirit. It's Captain Swayze, I believe his name was. So he is the spirit that haunts the Old Angel Inn, apparently, and they've even caught an apparition that on one of the cameras that they have in the bar there, and it looks like it's you don't really see like a figure, but you can kind of see like the lines of like on the old like 1800s military uniforms they had with like it had the buttons and then the kind of like
Yep.
I don't know what they're called. But you know what I'm talking about. It kind of looks like that. So that's really interesting. If that's on they actually have that on their website, the Old Angel Inn's website. And then people have heard, like people who have been staying upstairs in the where the guest rooms are, they've heard things shuffling downstairs when they know that the bar's closed for the night, the staff have left. Just, eerie things like that. So that's one of the I guess more like local to me like legends and ghost stories that I find really fascinating. And Niagara on the Lake is a great spot to go. I go every year, and we kind of do like we stay there for a couple days, and it's always a good time.
Nice. Dave, I've never asked you this question before. What is one hotel you'd stay at that's haunted? One.
This is going to sound so cheesy, but I'm going to say it. I've stayed at the Luxor in Las Vegas a few times, but this was way before I got into the paranormal and supernatural. And now knowing a lot of the stories and spirits, I would love to stay there and smuggle my ghost gear into the Titanic exhibition. Apparently, there have been ghosts of passengers in that area wandering the halls.
Wow.
There is a piece of the Titanic in there too.
Mm.
And I think being there and knowing that many of people have decided to use the Luxor as their last breaths before taking a big jump, I think it would be a very interesting place to actually investigate. Never mind just staying there for a good time. Or Binions. I love those old casinos. Binions, Golden Nugget, that area. I think that would be one of the greats because there's so much history there. And Merle, I believe you tried to do a little investigation in Binions as well, right?
I did. Me and Rella went to Binions and the Gold Nugget. I brought some of my gear. I had some of my gear in there. I know our friend Eric Markham, he had some activity in his room. He said he thought that there was a man in the washroom walking into his room.
Oh.
Like I guess like a hotel maid or something. But there was nobody there. But no, I agree. Those old mobster hotels, that would be a gold mine probably for paranormal activity. I would love to do a trip of just staying in mobster hotels, the old hotels, and trying to communicate with those guys and I guess their victims.
See, like we could talk about all the famous ones that are out there, but if you look at, say, on Vancouver Island, the Craig Derrick Castle, or
Yeah.
Castle Loma in Toronto, where they don't allow people to investigate the paranormal because, like, especially here in Canada, for our American listeners, there is a real attitude among Canadian people who run places like this that, oh, we don't want that reputation here. What will people think? It will keep people away. We don't want that tourism revenue. We don't want that fame and fortune on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. And it's such backward thinking. It really is backward thinking. But Craig Derrick Castle is beautiful. It is extremely haunted by people who have been there and had encounters. And I remember the one time I was ever there, I remember asking the person, one of the concierges there as you take the tour, is this place haunted? And they downplayed it like, no. I mean, we get some odd knocks or something like that, but no, there's no ghosts here. right? Stop it. Stop it. It's like listening to the U.S. government say there's no such thing as UFOs, right? That's the way I look at it. So, yes, Vegas would be my number one destination for the hauntings because of all the mob stuff and interest that goes into that.
Yeah, that's a hot spot. How about did you ever do an episode on the Clown Motel?
I have not. I definitely could because I have, of course, watched that Ghost Adventures episode and also just clowns in general. Or I'm not like a
Well,
huge like some people are very like afraid of are very afraid of clowns. Do
mhm.
I find them creepy? Yes, but also like a haunted motel that's just filled with clowns. I also hate that. So I probably will cover it at some point for sure.
It is 100% on my 2027 radar of road trips.
Yeah.
And the Mitzpah. You didn't do that one, no.
No. No, I haven't.
But yeah, I don't know. The hotels, they are a mecca of people doing naughty things,
Yep.
having time to reflect on things like in a depression.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's so much energy in rooms. That's where a lot of people will go to Unalive because I guess that's heart attacks. And I guess you don't know really what type of room you're staying in until you ask or
Right.
you're there and experience things. So, yeah.
With 2.5 minutes to go before we have to go to break, at the bottom of the hour or at the top of the hour, we got Merle and we have Liz Silva from a great podcast you want to follow on Spotify and all the major podcast networks. Haunted Hangout Podcast is where it is. Now, as we start to wind things down for this evening with you two, what makes a good story, Liz? What are you looking for?
Um for me at least, I've mentioned this before, but I want it to kind of give me that like feeling where I'm like this it gives me like it gives me chills almost because I'm like there's something maybe not necessarily always something supernatural going on, but there's something going on here and things are a little weird. It kind of gives me a weird feeling. So that's usually my criteria for when I'm looking into an episode. Like if I want to cover like a haunted location, I'll look through, a list and there'll be something that stands out to me, like whether it's a little tidbit of its history or one of the weird paranormal things that happens that'll speak to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the creepiest thing I've ever heard. I want to talk about that. So that's kind of my criteria. It's definitely 100% based on me and my kind of gut reaction to things when I'm researching.
And how about for you, Merle? What's up next?
What's up next? Well, the Paracon's up next, Dave, of course. Then I have I'm doing another documentary in October at a place called Hotel Midway in British Columbia. The true crime aspect there is the original owner was shot dead by bandits with masks on in 1910.
Wow.
And there's a lot of paranormal activity happening there. Nobody's ever investigated it. And I'm really, really excited to do that. But Dave, I'm really excited for the Paracon. That's what we really want to do.
It's going to be great. Absolutely great. Merle, want to say a big thank you for coming back on Spaced Out Radio and introducing us to Liz Silva tonight. Liz, thank you very much. Coming up next in hour 3, Swamp Dweller will kick things off. Follow that up with Terry Hall and the weird news of the week.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, guys, great job tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for staying awake with us. I know
Oh
it's
yeah,
probably
no worries.
late.
Yeah, it's about 2 a.m. for me, but that's okay. It was worth it.
All right, guys. Take care, everybody.
All right.
Thank you and good night.
Good
Bye.
night. Thank you.
Stop now! You're under arrest! Hands up! Don't move!
Don't get caught without your spaced out radio merchandise. We have t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, socks, hats, stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can look the part? We don't have ugly merch, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Dirty filth. Dirty filth. Dirty filth.
Object is heading north 045 degrees. It's definitely not a plane. It seems to be tethered to something. Is that a banner, Joe? Caribou Con. Does anyone know what Caribou Con is?
Caribou Con, one of the BC Caribou region's best kept secrets. Until now. Join our panel of renowned paranormal experts for a weekend of fun and intriguing presentations. Go to cariboucon.com to book or inquire now.
Over here. Look at this.
Discover Spaced Out Radio on all your favorite platforms. We're live every single night with the best in UFOs, cryptids, paranormal, and the unexplained. And you can find us on all your favorite platforms. Head over to Instagram for behind the scenes and daily weirdness, TikTok for quick mind-bending clips, Facebook for community discussions, and X for real-time updates and hot takes. Wherever you scroll, Spaced Out Radio is there. So go search Spaced Out Radio on every platform, hit follow, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single episode. The weird is waiting. See you there.
The McNeil House is one of several buildings at the 108-mile heritage site said to be haunted by spirits of a time long forgotten. But would you stay the night? Along with guided ghost tours and paranormal investigations, Haunted 108 is offering a chance to spend the entire night inside the historic McNeil house by booking one of our B&B style sleepovers, where you can experience the hauntings firsthand, meet the resident ghost cat, and witness unusual activity. If you dare to turn history into a night you'll never forget, book your spot now at haunted108.com. Spots are limited. Will you be brave enough?
All right, we bring in the mustachioed Terry Hall. Look at that lip blade. Man, looking gorgeous as ever, buddy.
What's happening, old beard of knowledge?
Oh, not much, not much. Another day off tomorrow and another day off that I got to go into work. So it's all good.
So now, wait a minute. That's a contradiction in terms. Another day off tomorrow and another day that you got to go into work. So what is it? Is it one or the other?
Both. I got to go in for like an hour.
You ghost hunters, man. Your lives are just not normal. They're just not.
Thank you tonight to Jake, to Blue Cruise, and T-Bone for the super chats. Thank you to everybody who is tuning us in and giving us a thumbs up. And thank you to our mods for a great job tonight. Keep it up, everybody. Here we go. Third and final hour is underway here on Spaced Out Radio. So glad you are with us. We have Swamp Dweller and Terry Hall in the Weird News of the Week coming on up here momentarily. But first, hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is, let me just get it here, obliged. Obliged is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp.
It was about a month ago that I learned of what these crawlers were. While listening to your podcast, describe encounters with these said creatures, I finally learned the name of what I feel best describes of what I saw in 2002 and 2003. Both of my encounters take place along the Texas border and Mexico. The first encounter, I was with a friend exploring irrigation canals at night on the farmlands near my house. Honestly, I couldn't really give you a reason why. We were just bored. These canals are elevated about 20 feet or so, and the water is down at the bottom of the trench. While driving, the truck's headlights illuminated a small, lanky, gray and white creature on the side of the canal. As soon as the headlights hit the crawler, it leaped into the darkness of the canal. With similar ease as a cat might jump, both my friend and I immediately shouted, "What the heck is that?" The chupacabra is my area's local cryptid legend, so we immediately assumed that, until I heard of the existence of the crawler. I had been thinking a chupacabra was what I saw, or some type of alien. But descriptions of the chupacabra don't accurately describe this crawler. The many descriptions of the crawler are spot on with what I saw. The second encounter was at my house. Occasionally, I would climb up onto the second story of my family home for a bit of stargazing. While laying on my back, staring into the sky, I heard a noise coming from the other end of the roof. Thinking it was probably a possum messing around, I tilted my head from the sky to the direction of the sound. Something was slowly moving towards me in the dark from the end of the roof. For a few moments, I stayed in place, just trying to figure out what this was. Trying to focus and make a solid identification of what animal is coming toward me. It wasn't until the creature got about halfway across the roof. My eyes could finally pick up on the features, disqualifying it from being any other animal native to my area. It looked like a small hairless person, crawling on its lanky hands and feet. Needless to say, I didn't stick around any longer. I hauled ass down the tree I'd come up on, back to the safety of my house. I don't know where it went after that. Thank you for sharing my story, and I hope somebody who's listening.
Thank you, Swampy, for another spooky story. If you want more just like that, head on over to YouTube, type in Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell. Thousands of stories for you to listen to each and every day and night. So have some fun with it, except when you're listening to this show. Make sure you listen to us instead. It makes it a little bit easier. Time for Terry Hall, the Weird News of the Week.
Terry Hall's got a mustache, down in bottom road. Question mark, got secrets to be told. When you folks tracks goes to won't behave. You call me to the headlines like a classy way. Weird news of the week, get strange and wild. All the answers are reality to the unexplained file. With Terry Hall involved, the stack and the small. On Space Out Radio, let the very stars shut it off.
Terry Hall and the Weird News of the Week gets going right now. Terry, it's always great to have you back on Spaced Out Radio. Thank you for joining us.
Well, I'm much obliged for always having the invite to come back to Spaced Out Radio. So there's your special word of the day, Dave.
Love it. It's an obligation for you. You, Jules, and
you know, we have had a really kind of one of those weeks this week, Dave. Tell you what, let me start you off this evening, okay?
Please do.
So, I'm going to Bob Ross this for you guys, okay? Let's paint a picture here. Imagine your loving son, who you have nurtured for his entire life, is accepted to a prestigious college, going to study for a business acumen, more specifically aimed towards accounting. You're paying $68,500 a year in tuition. The bright young man is in a frat. And it turns out that the degree that he was actually getting was actually paying off fairly well in the old frat house, as this young man was leading a cocaine ring at Penn State University.
Oh, my.
Cocaine ring at Penn State University. Westbury, Long Island. 24-year-old Penn State graduate from Westbury is among 14 people indicted in an alleged cocaine distribution operation tied to 2 fraternities at the university, according to prosecutors. Augusto Abatillo, I'm sorry, I'm probably destroying this person's name, but it's as close as I'm coming right now. From a well-manicured street in Westbury, Connecticut, high end, was identified as a criminal compliant as the largest distributor in the alleged cocaine ring at Penn State. Augusto was at the very top of the chain. Prosecutors alleged that 2 fraternities, Sigma Chi, where Augusto was a member, and Delta Epsilon, hosted parties involving drug rings and hazed pledges with cocaine. Cutting and bagging cocaine was, for some pledges, an introduction into the Delta Epsilon and Sigma Phi fraternities, the Attorney General said. In a statement, the university said, "We are horrified by these allegations, serious allegations." And adding that the criminal activity, including hazing such as this, has no place at our prestigious institution. Investigators alleged that the drug activity occurred in 2023 and 2024. Now, I swear to you, Dave, when I first saw this story, I thought in the back of my head, Wouldn't it be funny if this kid was like going to school for a business degree? And honestly, I kid you not, he was studying to be an accountant. Investigators alleged that the drug activity occurred during 2023 and 2024. The investigation resulted in 14 indictments announced Monday, including that of Paul Robinson, a student's parent and attorney, who we alleged took steps to conceal evidence, including safe containing drugs and cash. So not only did he have two fraternities involved in this, he had another student's parent involved in this, and that parent happened to be an attorney. Also arrested was Robert Zenola, 24, of Manhasset. Prosecutors allege Zenola helped move the cocaine from New York City. When approached at a residence connecting to Zenola, a person at the door responded to questions from Eyewitness News by saying, "Yeah, I'm not talking." The attorney said the arrest should serve as a warning to others. Just because you're at college and you're making money and you think this is something you can get away with, it's not, the attorney general said. If you're not in a good place, call your parents. Call somebody that you love that will help you. That's really what it's all about. It's unfortunate these events occurred, and I hope that these boys are okay and their future's okay, said Trish Deshi, a Manhasset resident.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
$68,000 a year in tuition, and the kid was probably making that on a weekend, man.
Well, at least his parents didn't have to pay for it.
Phew, not yet they didn't, but they're going to pay some pretty stiff legal fees. I bet you that much money.
Well, a late night run for donuts, honey buns, pound cake, and a fountain drink ended up costing one Louisiana man a lot more than $19.88, Terry. The Shreveport Police Department said the story began around 12:34 a.m. on August 11th when officers responded to a Circle K in Shreveport. A store clerk reported that a man selected several bakery items, filled a fountain drink, and walked out without paying. The haul included 3 packages of small donuts, 2 packages of honey buns, 1 package of pound cake, and the fountain drink, $19.88. After officers searched the surrounding area, initially they couldn't find him. A short time later, though, a man matching the exact same description walked back into the Circle K while police were still nearby. Officers detained him, identifying him as 18-year-old John Alex Jordan. During the investigation, officers linked Jordan to the recent burglary of Elks Lodge, where multiple items were reported stolen. He was subsequently charged in connection with that burglary. It was also discovered that he had an outstanding theft warrant stemming from a separate case. Jordan faced 1 count of theft, 1 count of simple burglary, along with the previous outstanding theft warrant. The department had some fun with his decision to return to the store in a Facebook post about the arrest, writing, "Apparently returning to the scene really does work, just not in the way he probably hoped." Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Dave, down here in the States, we have a couple of different branches of stores that are, we'll just say dollar stores. Okay. Without mentioning any brand names, we'll just call them dollar stores. In these dollar stores, they have the little Debbie snacks like the honey buns and donut sticks and things like that for $1.50 for like a package full of them. I mean, this guy and his, but I'm going to ask you a trivia question.
Okay.
Do you know why it's called pound cake?
No, but Van Halen made a great song about it.
Oh, they actually did. The reason that it's called pound cake is because you use a pound of each of the individual ingredients to make the cake. A pound of butter, a pound of self-rising flour, a pound of sugar, and a pound of eggs.
Okay. I never
That's
knew.
why it's called pound cake. Yeah.
I never knew.
Yeah. So got a little bit of trivia in for the evening too. So I tell you what, Let's go from sweets to squids. How does that sound?
Sure.
Now, a truckload of squids spills onto the street in Rhode Island, creating a smelly mess in the summer heat wave, Dave. Can you imagine that? A truckload of squids. A tractor trailer rollover sent a truckload of squids spilling onto the Rhode Island roadway, leaving a stench as they sat on the road for hours in the summer heat. Local authorities have dubbed it the Squidpocalypse of 2026. It was a warm, sunny day in the coastal town of Narragansett when the spill happened, and Narragansett Police Captain Ryan Priest said he was told that the scene started to smell as bad as the squid sat out in the sun for a few hours. A fully loaded trailer was taking the squid to a processing facility out of town when the trailer dislodged, tipped on its side as the driver was navigating a turn, spilling the substantial portion of its calamari cargo, the police said in the statement. Police responded at 9:27 a.m. and the intersection was not open until 5:15 p.m. The scene was not completely cleared of its slimy little squid friends until nearly 11 o'clock that night.
No way.
Squid has a very distinct odor to it. Richard Stevens, Narragansett residents and fishermen told the station. It can be very foul smelling, especially if it lands on the road and stays there for a while. Part number 2 about this is squid ink is very, very permeable in concrete. So now they are going to have to go back through and restripe the entire intersection.
I got one here for you. You know, with all the forest fires that have been around in British Columbia this year. Well, Terry, here's this one's actually kind of sad. It bugs me. A couple who lost their home in a British Columbia wildfire this summer had to face an additional challenge after the fire. You know what it was?
What's that?
Canceling their internet and cable. On August 1st, Greg Brown and his wife woke up to learn a small grass fire had started close to their home on Okanagan Lake. Having evacuated before, they packed some important items just to be safe and waited to see if officials could extinguish the flames before they spread. Well, there were 5 planes and 2 helicopters that were working on this grass fire, and we felt they might be able to get it before the winds kick up. Unfortunately, they did not, Brown said. The fire blew through in minutes at about 80 kilometers an hour or 50 miles an hour sideways through the whole community, and it wiped out everything as we understand it. They made it out with both vehicles, some possessions, more than others did. A lot of people didn't even have time to get what we got out and lost absolutely everything. They'd gone into town for the day. They couldn't get back. They lost pets. They lost their homes. According to the area in the Bradley Creek wildfire is still restricted, but Brown says he knows his home is gone. Now, Brown is in St. Albert, Alberta with his wife, who is now in Calgary, staying with family, also trying to get through the next steps of putting their life back together. One of the things the Browns needed to do was cancel services they didn't need anymore, like cable and home internet. My wife called to cancel our Rogers account, and she was told, despite our situation, that we would have to pay a $660 fee to disconnect, or pay us $10 a month to hold the account until we land somewhere again. Those were the options they were given, with nothing else. After learning of a neighbor's experience dealing with Rogers after the fire, Brown also expected to have to pay for the equipment that was destroyed. We can't understand how a corporation that big, worth that much money, has zero compassion for people who have just lost absolutely everything. New rules came into effect in BC August 1st, requiring businesses to give consumers the ability to cancel subscription contracts at any time without charge, according to a government statement. Now, Rogers responded. Those rules apply to contracts signed on or after August 1st. Brown's contract had been renewed just weeks before the fire. Now, CTV News in Edmonton reached out to Rogers and was told the company has a policy in place for these types of situations, and the cancellation fee should have been waived. Rogers refused to provide a copy of the policy to the news network or say when it came into effect. We apologize to our customer for their experience, and we've reached out to them directly to make it right. On Monday afternoon, Brown said they received a call from Rogers, and they were told they could now cancel without any fees and that the equipment charges would also be waived. I don't want this happening to anybody else, Brown said. We're going to be okay. Others may not have been so lucky. So, multi-billion-dollar corporation who just laid off, I believe, 600 people in radio across Canada, but had found, I don't know, it was like 200 million to buy a bigger portion of the Toronto Blue Jays, and they can't help out people who lost their places in fire.
That one makes my blood kind of boil a little bit, Dave.
Right?
You know, it kind of brings to mind the unfortunate tragedy that happened in California, where all of the insurance companies canceled out all of their homeowners insurance just weeks before those fires hit. And then afterwards, the funding that came in for those individuals that they never received. I mean, that kind of stuff, David, it's heartbreaking.
Right? Yeah, it's amazing how these corporations, and look, I'm not anti-capitalist at all. I'm actually the opposite. Okay? But it's amazing how these corporations have lost their humanity. I'm going to give you one that most people don't even know in Canada yet. In Canada now, to get an automobile loan. So let's say you go to, you're wanting a new truck, Terry. Okay? You go to get, so you work with your salesperson, you agree to the numbers, you go into the finance office, and now in Canada, you have to have your ID scanned and confirmed before you can finance a vehicle. They are covering this under anti-fraud and money laundering legislation. And that's what all the big banks are saying. So if you wanted to get a car loan now, you have to receive a text message from the dealership that you have to hold your ID up to your face.
Yeah. ID verify. Exactly.
That is ridiculous.
You guys just now started that recently?
Yeah.
We've been doing that down here for a long time. As a matter of fact, in my line of work, because you know as well, we're both financing officers to some extent where we both are employed at. And for me to process any loan, the ID verify is an absolute must before you can even proceed with filling the paperwork out.
Ridiculous.
That ID has to be verified.
That's ridiculous. It is so little brother is watching.
Oh, have you heard about the whole talking about? Okay. I think we better go south on this one because this could get really deep really quick.
Well, we don't have time to go deep, but I want to get, no offense, I'm not trying to cut you off. Jeremy Jones saying, I don't see the issue. The issue is that it is incumbent that they are allowed to go through your full credit, which is obvious, but they are allowed to now check your ID with every major police source around before they decide whether or not you can get an auto loan.
So wait a minute. You're saying that you're running like a once and warrants check with their identification, or you're just verifying that the person you're doing business with is the person you're doing business with?
Well, this is the car industry in Canada now. So it's a little sketchy. Put it that way. And a little invasive. Terry Hall, the weird news of the week, continuing here on Spaced Out Radio. We'll be right back.
This is Spaced Out Radio. Your host, Dave Scott.
There we go, buddy. We're clear.
Well, I just didn't want to bring those flock camera things up while we were doing the radio feed because they're causing quite a stir down here in the United States.
What kind of cameras?
They're called flock cameras, Dave, and they're
Flock cameras.
flock cameras, and they're being deployed by a company that is Israeli based, but they're putting them everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And you've got quite a movement of people down here now that are actually they're putting them up and they're taking their sawzalls and cutting them right back down because if you'll look one of them up, they not only record your your license plate off of your vehicle, but they tap into your telephone, your web, your IP addresses, your ICC IDs on your phone, everything. And they can actually listen in. So let's say I had one of those flock cameras out front by the bus stop because my home, right out in front of my home, they put one of the public transit bus stops out here. We're very remote, so public transportation's pretty handy, right? If they put one of those flock cameras out there, it could pick up my web, my phone. It could listen into our conversations that we're having here in the home, as well as record all the drivers, all the information. When you pass by one of those things, it's not just your driver's license on your car. It's everything.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous.
And so I know you haven't heard about them up in Canada yet, but I was just thinking if any other country, Mexico, Spain, England, Greece, France, if they said that they wanted to put England, China let's just say China. Let's say China said that they wanted to put 10 million cameras down here on every street corner. Everybody would be throwing a fit over this, but our government is not raising a finger to do anything about it. It's just this private company putting all of these cameras up everywhere.
Yeah, it's horrible. It really is horrible.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I saw something just yesterday that honestly, I hope a lot more people aren't thinking the way that this gentleman was thinking because he said he doesn't want to live in this techno-autocratic society that we're building that's getting so dystopian. You know, you're not going to have any kind of freedom or privacy. You're going to own nothing and be happy about it, is what they say. You know? So the world that my grandson lives in, I can't even imagine it. I try to imagine. My grandson's not even a year old yet. And I try to imagine a kind of world that he's going to be, or your little one, Dave, for that matter. You know, I hope we can do better. I hope we can do better.
Yeah, just under 2 minutes.
But now, of course, we've already got down there in the southern part of the United States. We got a couple of them stores parked already too. And then actually, I've got a story that we can go across the pond and talk about. The Schwarzenegger's line of the woods, Salzburg, Austria. Would you like to go to Salzburg, Austria, Dave? We have to take the chopper.
Sure.
Get to the chopper, Dave. Dave, get to the chopper.
Go 1 minute to go, buddy. 1 minute to go. Boy, the UFO story is really, really boring right now. Not much going on.
I've seen a couple decent ones, but it's not so much a story. They've done another deep dive on those. You remember the Las Vegas sighting when the UFO blip and then the two 8-foot aliens?
Yeah.
They had another expert do a really super deep dive on those videos, and buddy, that was interesting. That was interesting.
All right. Big thank you for the love from Blue Cruise, T-Bone, and Jake for the super chats. We greatly appreciate your love and support. And we're going to continue with the weird news of the week coming up here in about 7 seconds. We're into the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for tuning us in. We got Terry Hall for the weird news of the week. And Terry, I want to get this one here for you because I think this one's kind of funny.
Cool beans.
There's this guy named Vishal Garg, okay?
Okay.
Now, this is a CEO who right before Christmas fired 900 people on a Zoom call. Well, guess what? He got fired.
He fired 900 people on a Zoom call
right before Christmas last year.
Talk about the breakup term with texting. I mean,
right?
Geez. So tell me about this guy.
But now, poor Vishal is feeling duped, saying he hoodwinked me. The just ousted Better Home and Finance CEO said about Daniel Lewis, the man who replaced him last week. He said he liked the company's strategy. He praised us on X and used that to get on our board, win our confidences. Garg, who made headlines for laying off 900 employees on a company's Zoom call just before, this was a 2021 holiday season. He did this, not last year.
Okay.
Said he was fired August 3rd, just as he brought the company to the precipice of success. Better has been through a lot with Garg at the helm over the past few years. During the pandemic-fueled refinancing boom, when mortgage rates were below 3%, the company held an $8 billion valuation. Today, with an imploded refi business and rates closing in on 7%, the AI mortgage company's market value stands at just $300 million. Toss in a leave of absence after the embarrassing Zoom layoff fiasco, a whistleblower lawsuit, which was dropped, an investigation from the Securities and Exchange Commission. You never want to upset them, but nothing came of it. A disastrous 2023 SPAC merger that sent the company's stock cratering 93% and years of mounting losses. It's a minor miracle that Garg lasted this long as CEO. But Garg said he was just about to deliver on the company's unlikely turnaround after its core refinancing business went belly up. Better's annual sales plummeted from $1.5 billion in 2021 to $70 billion in 2023. So this guy basically did a terrible job, killed 900 jobs on a Zoom call, has no heart, no nothing, and now he's crying, even though he's a multimillionaire, that he wants his job back. Terry.
I tell you what, you want to talk about devaluing a company in a heartbeat, boss? I got a good one for you. Have you heard the story about this company down here called Bricks and Minifigs?
Okay.
It's a Lego reseller. It's a really popular story down here. So what happened was Utah-based Bricks and Minifig, they finally reached a settlement with this family whose allegations went viral. So what happened was Utah-based Lego reseller Bricks and Minifigs, they had this guy, Brian Mansell, who brought down his Star Wars collection of minifigs and Lego building kits that were valued at well over $200,000. Now, this was at a location in Utah, but they also have, these guys are nationwide, right? So the franchise owner of this particular branch Bricks and Minifigs took the business back from said franchise owner. When they did, they told this gentleman who had all these had this $250,000 worth of Legos there that they didn't have them, that they had gone missing. And so as the story progressed, as it turned out that they did have them and they were lying about it all along. Bricks and Minifigs, Dave, was valued at almost $1 billion. Now, I'll tell you how powerful social media is. This is one of those stories that went out on social media down here stateside and ruined this company. And it was because of honestly, of the CEO, owner, and the person who actually does the day-to-day running of this business. He lied outright. He filed false charges against these people. Now, as it turns out, they found if I was this guy, I would have just said, "Here's your Legos back, and here's your 100 grand or whatever we sold already. Thank you. Be good. Nice to know you." They gave him every chance to do this, Dave, and he didn't. He just would not come to the table and meet with these guys. As it turns out, 6 months before the Bricks and Minifigs company took this franchise back from the owner, it was planned. It had been planned all along, and now they are facing RICO charges, federal RICO charges over this whole thing. So talk about taking a company that was worth $1 billion and running it into the ground in less than 3 months. The company has been devalued to nearly zero.
What a waste.
Mhm.
What?
And it was a really popular place. I mean, if you were looking for an unusual piece, that's where you went. You went to Bricks and Minifigs. They had everything there, right? Or you could take your kids there because they had, just lots full of Lego bricks, and you could load up on Legos and, you know, make any little boy or little girls have a happy afternoon for next to nothing. But they ruined it all because the guy just would not come to the table. He just wouldn't come clean. Even when given the opportunity to do so, he just wouldn't do it.
Wow.
But now, Dave, let's go to something that I hope becomes a thing down here and in Canada as well. You guys celebrate Halloween. I mean, we all celebrate Halloween, right?
Yeah.
So we got a new thing happening down here, and the
Really?
devil's in the details. At a haunted Halloween car wash. There's a string of car washes down here that for Halloween this year are going to transform their car washes into haunted Halloween car washes. So, can you remember as a kid sitting in a car and going through the car wash like with your pop or your dog sitting next to you? Can you imagine this? The clowns come at you quickly at Fast Flash Car Wash. Now, this one's in Detroit. They tap on the windows of waiting vehicles, jiggle lock doors, and cackle at dozens of automobiles in lines for scares served with suds, sprayers, and sponges, chamois, and meat chainsaws as well. As a child, you cowered in the back seat during trips through the local car wash, terrified of giant rotating brushes and mirror curtains slapping against the family car. A haunted car wash will trigger those ancient memories. Take the roaring machinery in darkness, add strobe light and a guy in a hockey mask, and you've got a primal fear package perfect for vehicular adults with a taste for Halloween thrills. This is going to be the biggest year we've had for this, says Joe Fulmer. Let's see. It says that he is the manager of the string called Tommy's Express.
Right.
With 260 locations across the country, nearly half of them from Alaska to Wyoming, will be running the Halloween themed trademark Tunnel of Terror. I hope that catches on, Dave. I really do. That a lot more people do that. That sounds like it would be fun. I'm going to Google and see if I got one that close to me because I know that they've got some from. I know they have some in Utah. I know they have some in Washington, and I know they're here in Oregon, but I'm just not exactly sure where. I will take pictures, and if I do, I will post them on the Spaced Out Radio website on our appreciation part. And just so the listeners know, if you're a fan of Spaced Out and you go to our website, you can share your own personal photos with the Spaced Out family.
That is awesome. Awesome. All right, Terry, I got one here for you. It's happened in Texas. A local fishing YouTuber who goes by the name of Captain Crunch Boats was stabbed over the weekend while recording boaters at a public dock in the Clear Lake area. The incident happened at a public boat ramps along NASA Parkway, where Captain Crunch is a familiar sight to fishermen and boaters. In a 75-minute live stream recorded by the man, you could see the entire incident unfold. The video is now part of the sheriff's office investigation. Toward the end of the video, Captain Crunch can be heard arguing with several boaters he was recording. At one point, he waves at a woman driving off, saying on a video, "See you later, Karen." The exchange then continues with another woman for a moment. Then the camera suddenly falls to the ground. Investigators say that is when an unknown person approached Captain Crunch from behind and stabbed him. The video captures people yelling at the attacker to stop. Fishing guide Harrison Woods, who frequently sees Captain Crunch at the dock, said the attack appeared to be personal. It seems like the stabbing was personal because if you watch the video, the guy comes from behind. Investigators say the boaters that the Captain Crunch had been arguing with on the video then jumped in to help after the stabbing. Their actions can also be heard on the live stream as people call for help and voices are heard yelling at the alleged stabber to get off Captain Crunch. The suspect is also accused of slashing the tires of a black truck belonging to another fisherman. That fisherman told the news that his truck looks exactly like the one being driven by Captain Crunch, and he assumes the suspect just picked the wrong truck. Captain Crunch suffered minor injuries and has since been released from the hospital. He has also posted about the incident on social media, promising a complete update. Wood said the stabbing has shocked people who regularly use the public boat ramp. He was always out there. I come out here about 7 days a week. He's very friendly, just recording, just getting entertainment from the boat ramp. So yeah, this guy who did this, well, they haven't really caught him yet. They haven't found a clear shot of the person's face. They're still looking for him, and hopefully they catch this guy.
You know, if this story goes strong enough, I wonder how long it's going to be before Quaker Oats sues the guy for trademark infringement for the name of their cereal. He'll be a double victim.
Right?
A double victim.
My goodness.
You know, Dave, we can stay kind of on the violent streak if you want. This time, we're going to go down to Florida. I've got a quick one for you. How often, I mean, when you were in school standing in the lunch line or say at a theater, how upset do you get when someone cuts in line? Are you one of the guys that just let it slide or do you get upset about it?
Depends on the mood I'm in.
All right. Well, let's head down to Marathon, Florida, where a Florida man was arrested for hitting a man in the face with a rock.
Ouch.
Over waiting his turn for the shower. Marathon, Florida. A Florida man was arrested over the weekend for hitting a man in the face after he got upset while waiting for his turn in the shower, the Monroe County Sheriff's Officer announced. Kenneth Andrews, 29, from Marathon, was arrested after deputies said he hit the victim in the face with a rock during an argument over the man getting cuts in line. Deputies responded to the marina on Ocean View Avenue around 9 p.m. regarding the altercation between two men. The MCSO revealed that Andrews was upset about waiting his turn to use the shower when the victim cut in line. Andrews so armed himself with a fist-sized rock and hit the victim in the face. The victim suffered cuts to his face. Andrew was arrested and charged with aggravated assault and battery and is still awaiting trial. So, I guess the guy had sandy crotch or swamp butt or something, Dave. I don't know. But he really wanted that shower, man. He really wanted that shower.
Well, Terry, let's head to McDonald's. I bet
Okay.
you didn't expect this. For most people, the mental calculation to grab a meal from McDonald's pretty simple, relatively cheap, not in Canada, fast,
Not in the
not
States
in Canada,
anymore either.
and goes down easy, even if it doesn't always feel so good after. For McDonald's, however, the question of how to keep a customer coming back is far more complicated, apparently requiring an expansive web of corporate surveillance. Yeah. That's a stunning revelation from Wired reporter Reese Rogers, who recently uncovered a supersized McDossier dealing with everything from past orders to loyalty points and even the codes he scanned from the fast food chain's Monopoly sweepstakes. Evidently, McDonald's has been plugging this enormous ream of data into its own predictive algorithms in order to estimate various customer metrics, like how many times Rogers is expected to stop by in the next few weeks to his total predicted dollar value as a customer. Because he's a California resident, Rogers had the legal right to access data compiled on him by a private company. To better understand what kind of data McDonald's had on him, Rogers requested a copy of the report from the company's Privacy Rights Center, which contains a form customers can theoretically use to exercise your rights to privacy at any time. The result is 515 pages, which contains specific pieces of personal information about you that were identified by searching McDonald's systems, which contained information about our customers per the company. For the context, 515 pages is right at the threshold for a large FBI dossier. A file that size is comparable to the Bureau's profile on John Lennon, whose outspoken opposition to the Vietnam War made him a prominent target for deportation by the Nixon administration. In other words, we are now living in a world where fast food chains conduct the type of surveillance on its customers that Cold War obsessed spy agencies once carried out on high-profile political dissidents.
A
McDonald's.
life algorithm, huh?
Yeah.
Now you don't just have an algorithm on the internet. Now you've got a fast food algorithm, right? Yeah. Yeah. You know what blew me away when I finally figured this out was how much one of these, how much information is just in your day to day, like how many steps you've taken, when you sat down, when you stood up. I mean, it's got an altimeter in it. It's got and Google is recording all of this information to their own. I mean, we're just in that digital age. That kind of stuff doesn't surprise me anymore. Not at all. I mean, it's a predictive. Larger companies like the one that I work for, Dave, we have predictive algorithms, and they are very, very accurate. I can so accurate sometimes it's scary. So I tell you what, Dave.
3 minutes. Do you want to close this out?
Well, I tell you what, we can do this one real quick. Let's go over the pond and let's pay tribute to a great composer. More than 200 statuettes of Australia's most famous composer disappeared from his hometown of Salzburg, officials said Wednesday, leaving tribute to Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart on his 270th birthday, Dave. The Mozarteum Foundation on July 15th unveiled 320 statuettes, gold statuettes, barely 50 centimeters, that's about 20 inches in height, showing Mozart with his dog. They were designed by the German conceptual artist Ottmar Horrell. Within 2 weeks, more than 80 of the polymer figures had disappeared. By Wednesday, a total of 210 had gone missing. The worst thing for the artist when his work is his work dissolves, Horrell told German News. This, he said, was organized theft. Horrell intended to sell the statuettes for about $1,114 each once the exhibition was over, meaning whoever ran away with the 210 mini Mozart figurines has not become an overnight millionaire, but he's put about 25, 30 grand in his pocket. The mini Mozarts populated not only the garden of the composer's former house, but also his living quarters, as well as several pavilions. But you know what's really weird about this is this guy, Dave,
Yeah.
he couldn't get any more back because the foundry where the statues were made, they were on vacation, so he couldn't repair it. But this was his statement about this. That's just the nature of public space. That means when you work as an artist in a public space, you mustn't complain about what's happening there. It ranges from destruction to theft. That's just how it is. The reason he said that is in the four outdoor exhibitions he's had, he has lost almost $1 million in product.
Wow. $1,000,000.
So this one, I mean, they got the majority of the statues, but it wasn't a high dollar one like I guess the three previous ones were before. It just goes to show you that if you're going to have an exhibition, don't do it in the middle of Central Park because there won't be much of an exhibition by the time the exhibition becomes an exhibition, unless you're an exhibitionist.
I'm trying to wrap my head around that right now.
I got you, Dave. I got you.
Oh my goodness. Terry Hall, it is always great to have you on Spaced Out Radio, and this is why I love it when you come in each and every week to do this segment that we call the Weird News of the Week. Because you know what? There's some weird things going on in our world, Terry, and I know you love to bring it to our attention.
I swear, Dave, I think one of these times we're going to do nothing but Florida man stories for an entire hour because each and every week out of the 50 states here in the United States, that's the one that's a standout. There's a Florida man story for every day of the week.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, Terry, as we say goodnight to Terry Hall. And hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAF, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X, hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyrighted by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us. Because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Good job tonight, Terry Hall, and your mustache.
Good job tonight, old beard of knowledge. Well, guys, once again, thanks for having me one more time. Don't forget to tune in to Dave after the show on WABCRadio.com. And Julie will be signing autographs to the left of the studio, door. I think I get to keep my thumbs because, the thumbs up worked this evening. Julie's going to let me keep them. So while I've got possession, I'm going to use them to click out of here, Dave. Thanks for having me. Thanks for
Have a
having
great
me, guys. Much love, and I will see you next week.
Absolutely, buddy. See you next week. All right, let's get this worn. Excuse me. Tomorrow night on the show, Jackie Harmon will be here. Her close encounter with Sasquatch on the table. It's going to be a lot of fun with Jackie. Thank you to our mods for a great job tonight. I'll clap for you. Good job. Way to go, mods. Take a bow. Love you guys. You guys make our chat room awesome. You really do. Special thanks to T-Bone, Blue Cruise, Jake for the super chats. I got to get going here because I got to wait for a phone call to come in from New York. You guys get ready for another great show. I'll be on the air with Walter M. Sterling here in just a few minutes' time. My voice is killing me tonight. It really is. I don't know why. There's no forest fire smoke, but it is what it is. Love you guys. We'll see you all tomorrow night with Jackie Harmon as our guest. See you tomorrow, everybody. Good night.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.